Hello, everybody. I am FTA.
I am Tron John. That's Jonathan.
And I am the Anti-Guardian.
He's back!
Oh my
God.
Back to kick some butt in Wild Canyon.
Yes, true. And we're here to...
That's how we've started 2 consecutive podcasts.
See, you know what I was thinking of doing? I was thinking of editing in Diddy's section of the DK rap. He's back again and about time too.
I tried to do that last week. You said, and we're back, and I went to say, and about time too, but you said kick some butt in Wild Canyon, so I just went ahead with
Wait, did you edit last podcast?
No, I did.
Oh.
He meant while we were recording it.
Yeah.
Dude, keep up.
I don't know. We could have done this like 3 hours ago. And I would have been much more awake.
They were blame TJ. He wanted to get pizza first. So we're here to review the second arc of Worlds Unite, as well as the Mega Man Worlds Unite Battles Issue 1, even though there's only one issue.
The Battle Book.
It's a one-shot.
Yeah, but Issue 1 makes it sound like it's of an ongoing series, which it is not.
It's number 1 of 1.
What if they change their mind? They're like, we canceled Mega Man so we can have more battle books.
But they're all battles that just take place within Worlds Collide.
This week we got Toadman versus a stick.
What?
I don't know.
I put my money on the sticks. Toadman
too.
is pathetic.
But he does have a really good dance.
He does. For some reason, Snake Man looked up to him.
No, he doesn't look up to him. He's just obsessed with him.
Same thing.
Well, what if he literally looks up to him because he's taller than him?
Toadman is not taller than Snake Man.
Well, Snake Man's always like hunching down on the floor on the wall, so he has to like curve his neck up to look at him. Moving on. So the Mega Man Worlds Unite Battle Book. We're gonna kick right in. There's no new. We are recording this a week after we recorded the first one we did for Worlds Unite Act 1. So not really any more news.
Don't tell them that. It ruins the illusion.
This ain't Mysterio, boy. Shut up.
Well, I mean, San Diego did happen right the day after, like the San Diego Comic-Con Archie panel did happen the day after we recorded, but we didn't go there.
We didn't go there, and it's been a week and nothing. The panel's online. It's on YouTube if you want to find it. I haven't watched it.
Jonathan, what did you say? You texted us about something about Mega Man.
They just at the panel they said, "Oh no, it's not canceled. It's on hiatus, guys."
Yeah, but they've been saying that since they said it was on hiatus. Yeah. You know,
and the panel was kind of weird because Mike Pellerito was on the panel, and he's the president of Archie Comics.
Well, that's good. Why is that weird? That's good.
No, I just think
the panel was kind of weird because Ken Penders was there. they're like, "Sir, please get away from the table."
He's throwing popcorn at them.
He's like, "Well, I have every right to be here as you people do," and it's like, "No, you don't."
He was there throwing posters for the Lava Suit Chronicles.
He was forcibly putting Guarasu Chronicle T-shirts on the people in the crowd,
and then asking them for money.
It's funny because
it's true, most likely.
That'll be $25, please.
Apparently, he had a bunch of merchandise at San Diego, like T-shirts,
and phone apps, and I'm like, as many people online have said it. We won't repeat their names, but just like stop selling merchandise for a product you haven't released yet. It's like stop selling T-shirts for your comic, for your graphic novel before the graphic novel is even out. Maybe if you worked on the book instead of making merchandise and a phone app, which I've never heard of a phone app for a solo comic story before. You know?
Yeah.
Like for a company, like the Archie app, like the DC and Marvel apps, I get, but like there's not like a Dark Knight Returns app. You know.
What does the app even do?
No one knows.
Oh, it's just a repeating vine of Ken Penders going, "Hello, I'm Ken Penders.
That'll be $25.
I am Ken Penders.
So
Hello.
He's not even
Ken
showing them
Penders.
his app. He's showing them like Archie Comics.
Hello.
App and like
I
old
am
issues
Ken
he wrote.
Penders.
Okay, so Mega Man Battle Book. The first, each book, this and the Sonic one, are broken down into 3 fights, 3 battles, as it were. And a lot of them actually kind of they show battles that kind of take place either off screen or are implied. So in the first one, we get it's Mega Man versus 3 of the Deadly Six.
Best characters ever.
Exactly, and it takes place in between. You know, we see Mega Man leave off in his little auto car he has in Mega Man 7. Between then and being in the Lost Hexes base, this is what happens to him. He's basically driving along and he comes across Zomom, Zik, and Zaz. They're kind of attacking and kind of get the better of him, as it were. You know, they're all like, you know, Zik's just throwing apples at him and then starts like scratching him in his face and throwing like lightning, like electric Super Shocker!
Electric Boogaloos.
Electric Boogaloos at him. And then there's a moment he kind of gets knocked down and then Mega Man starts thinking of like his family and his friends. And he goes, you know, I won't lose to the likes of you scum because you come from a bad Sonic game. Get out of my crossover. But then Zik goes, guess what? We can control robotics. And this is so messed up.
I know. When I saw that, I'm like, really?
Again, to go back, as you said last week, I read this on the way down to Heroes Con when we saw Tracy in here. And one of the first things I said to Ian was just, what is wrong with you? That is so messed up. The way you had Mega Man lose. If you haven't read it, basically the Deadly Zik takes control of Mega Man. As we know, they can control robots, and he makes Mega Man shoot himself in the face. And there's these two panels where the first one, he's taken by surprise. He's like, what's going on? But then when he realizes what's happening, he has this look of just utter terror as he's about to shoot himself in the face.
Yeah, this is the first story in a long time that Ben Bates has drawn, and it's a.
Whoa! This was Ben Bates.
Yeah, you didn't take the time. You jumped right into it, and you didn't even read the credits like you usually do, Gareth.
I know.
This is what happens when you don't take the time to smell the Mega Man.
What now?
Flowers. Flowers.
Tiptoe through the Mega Man.
Okay, so again, as Jonathan said, and quite rightly, as wrong by me, this was Mega Man vs. Deadly 3, writer Ian Flynn, artist Ben Bates. So I think we're led to believe he does pencils, inks, and colours.
So what I think.
I hadn't finished yet. Letters by Rachel Deering. There we go.
Yeah. What I think happened is that this is all digital. Like, this is drawn on a pad, and he did, because there's a lot of, it's very different from what we've seen. I think it's a little different from what we've seen of him before, because there's a lot of, like, playing with lines and outlines, like the effect on Mega Man changing from Rock to Mega Man in the first page, all the scratchies when Zaz attacks him, all of the, like, weird, I don't know, canary screams that happen. Something.
One of my favorite things is in the panel where Mega Man actually shoots himself. It's like Zomom, Zik, and Zaz. They have no outline. They're just flat colors. It's nice. It's a nice stylization that we don't normally see in the Sonic and Mega Man books. I really liked it. It's really it's like a graphic stylized choice. I like it.
It's very nightmare-like. Like I really appreciate it because it makes it surreal.
They have no pupils. They have like this Batman or Spider-Man's like white eyes.
Yeah. The last.
Just like they're laughing. Well, he's like falling, and it's just like.
I thought you were having some kind of problem there, TJ. You started laughing uncontrollably.
We all have problems, Gareth.
Except for Harry Osborn.
Yeah, Harry Osborn is.
These
But yeah.
last two pages are really brilliant. Like the one where Rock is knocked down and his eyes are closing, like he's like dying, and then the little bit of light, each panel, his eyes get like open wider, and he sees a clearer, closer picture of his friends and family. Like that's a really nice graphic, like bit of graphic storyboarding.
It's great panel progression because I love there's 4 panels of his eyes progressively getting first more closed and open up, and then on the 4th one, it's a great way of just with one eye you can tell Mega Man's angry. Like Ben Bates has a really good way of drawing his. One thing I want to point out with, which I can't remember if they do it in the Sonic book, but it's what we'll get to. We'll review it next time. Is when Zomom appears. It says Zomom Deadly 6 Glutton, for Zaz Deadly 6 Berserker, and for Zik Deadly 6 Sage. So they gave him little like monikers and stuff aside from the name, which I can't remember if they did it in the Sonic's battle with the Deadly Three,
it's like whenever they introduce characters, like every issue, they'll be like Sonic, fastest thing alive, Sally, leader of the Freedom Fighters.
Did they introduce Mega Man? Because I have no idea who that is.
I don't know. He's some guy that shoots himself in the face.
Yeah.
Mega Man shoots himself in face.
Like if they had funny,
so he's Suicide Man.
if they had things like that, I wouldn't mind the constant Archie like introductions as much. If like they were like, because I know some of them are funny,
Goofy,
but most of the time they're just like Sonic, fastest thing alive, Mega Man, super fighting robot.
Which that's a gag.
That's fine.
That's a reference to the old cartoon.
But just like, if it was something different, like if it was exactly like what you said, where it's like Mega Man shoots self in face, like I would like them more.
I like when they used to do it where they would take the main characters, put their faces at the bottom of the page, and then.
What you mean on the first page, but they would showcase like who's important in this issue.
The title page.
And it was normally always like Sonic, Sally, and Tails. Normally always in, and they have like Eggman or Snively, or if Knuckles was in this issue, he'd get one, or Shadow, or what have you. Yeah, that was good.
And then they'd have a title like specific to that issue or what they just did the previous issue.
Well, and sometimes they would do a thing where it would play with what was going to go on in the story, like House of Cards.
Had them when they were holding cards, and they were looking suspicious, and they were like that was good. That was good. Yeah.
I would have made a House of Cards reference, but I've never seen that show.
I love House of Cards.
I have no idea.
All it is just Sonic just looks at the camera and goes power. Which none of you have seen that show, so that won't make it better. Kevin Spacey is forever looking to the camera. Because it's a full breaking show, but only he does it, and he's always talking about power
and how. Deadpool?
What?
Is it President?
Deadpool wasn't the first person, Jonathan, in fiction to address the camera.
No,
Raphael used to do it, and Ninja Turtles. You've seen Ninja Turtles.
You're right.
Well,
don't make me put you over.
Their colors are both red. Their colors are both red. I think Raphael's Deadpool or the other way around.
I hate you so much.
But I love you.
I love you. And so, this is really kind of, it ends with Zomom dragging Mega Man's kind of lifeless husk of a shell.
Come on, Mega Man!
Into a Genesis portal.
That hand just kind of grasping on to the earth as he gets sucked into the ground, into hell.
I mean, I remember my thing watching it for the first time, I was just like, because obviously these scripts and artwork and everything they always have to be approved by Sega and Capcom. And I was just like, man, that's dark for Mega Man, like classic Mega Man.
As soon as you said that, I was like, I don't even have to read it to know what happened. Because you were like, that's dark. And I'm like, what's the darkest thing happened to Mega Man? Oh, he shoots himself in the face. So thanks, Kiara. Thanks for that.
You're welcome.
You ruined it for me.
I saved you $4.
Thank you.
I think there's some really good Deadly Six moments in here. Like, Rock calls Zomom a yellow devil. And he's like, hey, don't call me names! And it's like, I can just imagine him, like, his voice from the video game saying that.
Duh, let's destroy him!
Duh.
Stay out of Mobius.
Stay out of the Lost Hex.
I love all the angled panels in this. Like, there's a lot of great, like, variation in size and angle, and he's it's really good.
You know what I'll say though? It's the fact that this opens up the battle books. This is of these 6, easily either in the top 2 for my money. This is
the best one in this issue.
Oh, yeah, hands down in this issue, hands down.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Although I will say overall, this issue, I think the Mega Man battle book is stronger than the Sonic one, but we'll get to Sonic next episode.
I don't know. I did not care for the fight, or the what was the last one? Or
Oh, that's Sonic Man versus the Robot Masters. I love that. We'll get that.
Right. I liked it better in the main story.
Well, this kind of fleshes it out a bit. I like it. I like it.
Well, I don't know. He did more There was more interesting things going on in the main story than I think in here. I don't know. And I liked the art better.
Well, let's see. So then we get to World Unite Battles 2, Maverick Hunters versus Vile. Writer Ian Flynn, pencils Jamal Peppers, inks Terry Austin, letters Rachel Deering, and colors Elena Ungler.
I want Jamal Peppers to do an X book. This is really good.
Yeah, he did a really good job with the X characters.
And this is just basically this is just expanding upon what we saw at the start of issue 1, where it's the Maverick Hunters at Zero, Axel, and X breaking into Sigma's base. We get more of Zero and Vile fighting each other, having a bit of more of a confrontation. And there's a nice bit where as we pointed out in review of issue 1, Vile has this kind of Megatron Energon mace.
Yeah.
And then with Zero's sword, I can just kind of squint my eyes. I think this is a G1 comic, Jonathan. It says Optimus Prime versus Megatron.
If Prime had a big ponytail, yeah.
He does.
No, Zero's a girl.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Why
I thought
can't
so,
Metroid
too.
crawl?
I don't know.
Me neither. So they start fighting because they're robots, and that's what robots do.
They fight.
I have no idea who Axel is, but apparently Axel can
You know what?
disguise himself.
Isn't he like X7 or?
I believe so, because in I have to go back and read them, but the YouTube video for us talking about Arc 1, most of the comments are just explaining who Axel is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then
I'd never heard of him before.
I'm never gonna
World
read those
Unite.
comments.
basically all the comments in the last issue were explaining who Axel is, and people just saying, of course X is boring in this book, he's boring in the games. I was like, okay then.
Glad to know.
There's a nice bit where Zero is just kind of slashing at Vile and says, "Why won't you stay dead?" And Vile just goes, "Same to you, buddy," and just shoots him in the stomach.
Yeah, I really like that.
I like it, and then everyone's to steal a line from Worlds Collide. Everyone's favorite walking paradox enters the fray. Silver comes down, just kind of stops Vile dead in his tracks.
And
Yay!
And then kind of off panel, I guess there's a conversation where they're like, "Hey, Genesis portals," and then he tells X,
Thank
"Hey,
you.
Genesis portals."
They you just turn the page and says sometime later, "Hey, thanks for explaining everything I need to know about Genesis portals. You're welcome."
The end.
We won't be seeing each other ever again. Bye.
Bye.
It's kind of weird how
That's kind of how it is, because it's like,
it's kind of weird how Silver doesn't go with them because she knows bad stuff's happening with the Genesis Balls.
well, in the first issue, it's like, and not the first issue, but in like the first Boom issue or whatever, they're like, Silver told us blah blah blah, and it's like, we don't get Silver telling them anything. We just see Silver, and it's implied that he tells them stuff. And then where the heck does Silver go?
Well, I think so obviously
This is TJ's headcanon.
No. This is from Sonic Universe 75. Remember, so like he obviously knows like what's gonna happen in this confrontation because he has some sort of knowledge of what happens with Sonic's world, which I don't know, based on I think the stuff in Sonic, like the background stuff, is leading into some sort of conclusion during this story. So I think that's why he's not stepping in like immediately.
Well, we know the next universe arc is gonna continue Silver kind of trying to deal with Genesis portals.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they'll explain more about what Silver's doing during Worlds Unite with Silver Age.
Because when we saw him in 75, he's just trying to shut down portals. He probably just came in. He's like, "Oh yeah, Genesis portals, whatever. I'm gonna turn this guy into the authorities, and then I'm gonna close this portal and be on my merry way." He's probably just like, I haven't got time to worry about that battle. There's like thousands of portals I have to close. So that's probably... Gotta
close them all!
I would have liked maybe a line explaining that.
Yeah.
Maybe just like them saying like, "You gonna come with us?" And he's like, "No, I got stuff to do, son. You go, robot boy. You go. You do
Sigma's
you."
gonna destroy the world. I got portals to close, guys.
I have
stuff.
Portal 2 to play, right?
That's
and
my Genesis portal noise.
I'm so glad you're here. And then we have World Unite Battles 3, Sonic Man versus the Robot Misters. Writer T-Rex, who's primarily he's a cover artist.
Yeah. Tristan Jones.
Oh, is that his full name? Tristan?
Yeah.
I follow him on Twitter. I should know that.
Yeah, he does. I think the Silent Hill comic. And he does other stuff.
I know he did. He just did the Mad Max Fury. There was like a spin-off prequel book that apparently he's been getting kinds of negative press for reasons why we won't go into now, because this is primarily a children's podcast. But yeah, so he's done a lot of stuff. He did one of the Archie variants for Archie issue 1, the reboot. You know, I like his art. I'm a big fan of his artwork. And then we have art in this though is done by Brett McCarthy, letters by Rachel Deering, and colors by Elena Unger. And this
Unger.
Unger.
Elena Unger.
Unger. Okay. Unger. My bad. And this is pretty much just Sonic. Eggman and Wily are like, we have to, we're gonna send Sonic Man and Mega Man to go do our evil stuff. Mega Man. And so, I love Mega Man has this, like the second panel has this great image of Mega Man looking. Of Eggman looking sad, going like, it's such a shame that our combined geniuses will be so short lived. Because obviously, as we know, like their plan is they expect Mega Man and Sonic Man to become free at some point.
Right.
And so it cuts to the original Dr. Light robots, the original Robot Master, the original 8, of course, Gutsman, Iceman, Oilman, Tireman, Fireman, Cutman, Bombman, and an Eggman. And TJ, you were talking about how you like them to be kind of like goofier.
Yeah.
Some of these are like Cutman's description. He's a lumberjack and he's okay.
Yes. Yes. Oh my god. Is that the only goofy one?
See, Bomb Man, blow stuff up. Demolitions expert.
Yes.
Gutsman, civil engineer in brackets, really, and karaoke champ.
Yes.
Iceman, extreme conditions, explorer extraordinaire. Oil Man, the slickest mechanical bot in Mega City. Time Man,
Monsteropolis.
experimental time meddler, always ready. Fireman, flame in brackets, waste disposal unit of justice.
Yes.
But Gutsman is the best.
That's like the coolest introduction of the Mega Man 1 Robot Masters ever.
It's pretty sweet.
That panel's amazing too. Like, look at that.
Yes, people at home, please go to page 2 of the third battle, and you'll see how good it is. But then it's kind of a nice standard.
Why are you picking on me? You comment on the art all the time, and as soon as I do, you're like,
you know why? Because we don't go look at it. Look at it.
Because I'm telling you to look at it.
The people at home listening to this in their beds.
Yeah. This art style is fairly different from what we're used to. It's kind of I'd say kind of like a hyper animated kind of. I think it's a little bit like graffiti-y.
Yeah, I'd say it's very graphic looking.
Yeah.
I like that. It's a very, especially as I said, the first 2 panels, Eggman and Wily especially, are very like something you would expect to see spray painted on a wall.
Yeah,
like that's that style. It's very nice.
Reminds me of, I think it's James Fry on the Sonic book a little bit, as far as just being stylized. He did the Free Comic Book Day issue in 2011. 2010?
I don't know. Fry has a much more harsh line. I'd say this is closer to Don Best than James Fry.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, just because... Yeah. And I think it's... Oh, to go off on a tangent, do you remember when Sonic... That issue where Sonic's playing darts, and...
Yes.
I was robbed? I bought those pages.
Oh, you bought those pages?
Yeah, from Jim Amash.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. I have to brag to Bobby.
He did it.
That's awesome.
He did. I saw him, Governor. He did it, so he did it. And then
What
we
if
get-
when you told him that he just like left the podcast?
he just punched you and left?
I wanted those! And he flips the table that we don't have. We're all on the floor like children.
Why did you tell them that? You're breaking the illusion.
Oh, I'm sorry, we're all in suits and at like a desk in a cubicle.
When we get the studio in Packrat, we should do an episode on camera where we all wear suits and talk about some Hedgehog comic books. It'll be amazing. But basically, the Robot Monsters just try to attack Sonic Man, but they prove to be no match for him. He systematically just takes them all out. There's a particularly brutal bit where Fireman is kind of trying to attack him, and Sonic Man just throws Iceman into him, and he kind of gets burnt to a crisp.
Yay!
Iceman's the best.
No, that's what he gets for having that level with the stupid disappearing blocks.
That's where you get the magnet beam scribe. You can walk right past it.
But they're still there in the stage to annoy me.
And then Bomb Man. And then Bomb Man goes to throw one of his bombs, but Sonic Man takes it, throws it back at them, and blows up all the Robot Monsters. And it ends with Elect Man going, "We can't beat this guy. Quickly call Dr. Light," this is where we enter. We enter just as we see Sonic Man has defeated these guys, and then the selection of Mega Man 2 and 3 Robot Monsters come in.
Dr. Light, calling Dr. Light, Dr. Light, Dr. Light, where are you?
I've never said this before, Jonathan, but quoting Aqua songs is banned in my house.
What? You don't like Aqua?
Name a song of theirs that's not Dr. Jones or Barbie Girl.
That one.
Exactly, it can't be done.
Oh God, it's.
He's got a point. Can't be done.
Exactly. So Mega Man. So what did you guys think then overall of the book?
I liked it.
Stop thinking of Aqua songs, Jonathan. What did you think of this
It's
book?
on the tip of my tongue, though.
No one cares.
It's the one about because it's like the fairy tale and. Yeah. And then there's in the heat of the night, we are having a fiesta in the heat of the
Yeah,
night.
that's great. What do you think of the book?
The first story was really good.
So you want a fan of stories 2 and 3?
They were alright. I don't know.
I just think that overall, it's weird because I don't know getting into too much spoilers. I really enjoyed the second and third stories from the Sonic book,
Yeah.
but the first one is so bad.
Yeah.
The first one is so bad that
Oh God, what's the first
Really?
one?
the first one is Sonic versus the show
okay.
Sonic getting defeated.
Okay.
It's not very. I think it's really cheap. Like the way they defeat him. We'll get into it next episode, but
I thought the Sticks and Roll one was the first story.
no, that's the second one.
Oh, okay.
You
And then-
completely forgot about the first
Well,
one.
no, I haven't read it.
No, but yeah.
I've
So the
only
first
seen
one is Sonic getting
previews for
defeated, which I think is not very good. Which as a whole brings that book down.
As
So while I think that the Sticks one is pretty strong, and the third one in that, the Knuckles versus Breakman,
Yeah, I'm
is
excited
my
for that one.
second favorite of
See-
all of them. But I think just overall, because I didn't dislike any of these stories, whereas I actively disliked the Sonic defeated section. So that's why
Yeah.
I would rank this one above the Sonic one.
See, Mega Man, the Mega Man fight, the first one
It's awesome.
is awesome.
Second is like first or second favorite of all of them.
The second one is it's okay. I don't really care.
I
but,
like it.
it's
I
fun.
think it's got good art and it has some nice moments. Again, Val's the best X character.
Yeah.
So more time with Vile, I'm happy with.
Yeah, it just felt
I-
a little bland, not art-wise, just as far as what happens in the story.
It's like I would have been happy with just what happened in the book.
Yeah, because
I didn't need
I
more.
will say,
Yeah.
like, I mean, I guess you could kind of say about the third one, but it's not really showing us anything that different than what we
Yeah.
saw in the book, because we kind of see them fight Vile for a little bit and then go in to see Zigma. So again, it's nothing amazingly different.
Yeah, I think maybe that's why I don't really care for the Mega Man book as much as the Sonic one, because the first story is
'Cause
really
you're
good.
wrong.
And it's the best one, but stories 2 and 3 don't really add anything.
Well, to be fair, neither do the ones in the Mega Man book.
Yeah, but it was something new. It's like we already saw a little bit of stories 2 and 3.
I forget. Do we? Oh, wait, we'll come up to that. We'll see.
Yeah.
But overall, I recommended it. I would, if it's, I recommend you still not out to buy it. I asked Ian how they plan to like trade the battle books, and he isn't sure. I imagine they'll probably just sprinkle some, because it's weird. Both of the battle books, they only take place between arcs 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Nothing happens in arc 3 at all in terms of these battle books.
Which is a shame, because you have all these Sega and Capcom characters coming
There
up.
should've
I
been-
would have liked them to expand on that a little bit.
That
I'm
would
sure.
that would have made more sense, because I could have done with, I mean, as much as I liked them, I could have done without seeing the Zero and Biles,
When even like the
Yeah.
Mega Man story, as good as it was, I mean,
No, I'll be honest with you. I prefer the fact that they showed us how they got
Yeah.
defeated. As much as I dislike the Sonic one, because otherwise it's almost of like how it's almost like we know how powerful they are. How could they lose?
that's true.
And Mega Man is really satisfying. We'll get to it next time. Sonic, not so much.
I would
yeah, see, I haven't done Red Sonic yet. So.
I would rank. I personally thought it was 3-1-2. I liked 3 the best.
You like
Oh,
three the
really?
best?
Interesting.
Yeah, I just thought the art was really good in that one.
Yeah, it's very
And,
unique.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't care for the style. Like I thought it was
Hmm.
alright, but I didn't. And I
I
think
don't care for
that's-
your style sometimes.
Well,
Hey,
yeah.
Just because he has a funny face and no grace doesn't mean you can make fun of his style.
But he can handstand when he needs to.
And stretch his arms out just for you.
I have no idea. what you're
Tickle,
talking about.
tickle, tickle.
He, let's not forget the fact that he can inflate himself just like a balloon. This crazy Sonic nerd just digs this turn. JC, Jonathan Carter. JC, Jonathan Carter's here. So, moving on. I love how confused he looks. He has no idea what we're talking
Yeah, he
about.
has no idea.
It's amazing. So
Be
let's,
ashamed of yourself.
so let's move on then to part 5 of World Unite, Sonic Universe issue.
Whoa, I thought we were in Worlds Collide. I just read all my trades. What am I on this podcast for?
I hope you're enjoying those signed trades. You liking them? Yeah. Mine aren't signed. I got you signed ones.
I love you.
That's your Christmas gift. I'm getting that for Christmas.
That's fine. I told you
joking,
that's
you
what I
get it.
wanted.
Oh.
I'm getting more, so I watch them cry about it. So here we go. Let me find the. You know what they've started doing now, and I don't get why. They put like the credits on the title on the last page.
Well, they did that for like parts 1 and 2 of the second arc, and then 3 and 4 were back at the beginning.
I don't like
Again,
it.
they
I like
switched-
it. I like it at
they-
the start. I don't get
I
why they do it
know.
at the end.
Yeah,
That's
and they
I
keep
don't like
switch-
that either.
And they keep switching it back and forth. It's like,
It's like
pick one and stick with it.
It's like movies that don't show the title until the end credits. I don't like that. I don't know what I'm watching.
Yeah,
I don't know what I'm
'cause-
watching. What am I watching?
Plus, you run into the issue here where if you want to see who did the art or who wrote it, you're turning to the last page
Mm-hmm.
where the big like
The spoilers are.
To be
spoiler
fair,
art.
Yeah.
this last page does nothing for me.
No.
It
But
doesn't matter. It's the fact that they put it on the last page.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I don't get
And so we're here at World Unite Part 5. Everybody in the same boat. Writer Ian Flynn. Pencils Edwin Huang.
Wang,
Huang?
Wong.
Wang.
Wang.
Inks Gary Martin. Letters John Workman. And colorist Gabriel Cassiter. And so it opens. Go back to the start of the book. It opens with all the heroes aboard the Sky Patrol flying around the new unified world, and just seeing how Mega Man and Sonic's world should not really be put together.
Wow, guys, glad we're up here.
Pretty much. Although I'm looking at and actually bits and pieces of Mega Man, but it's mostly just Sonic stuff,
I noticed
Yeah.
that because I could like recognize almost everything.
Because it's weird how like
Sonic.
I'm sure like this lava is meant to be maybe like Mega Man. I'm like, there's lava in like almost every Sonic game, like.
I know. I think it's supposed to be because
Hilltop
the
Zone.
world- Bow, bow, bow. Hit the ground running.
And so
Those are the words to that song.
I
okay,
forgot he had words to Hilltop
just words
Zone.
to every single song.
And so, but I think that's supposed to be the world is cracking apart from Unleashed.
It already was.
No, but that's why
Hmm.
it's because of Unleashed.
And so basically, we have all of the heroes kind of trying to figure out exactly what the hell is going on, And then there's a nice bit where So he goes, Sally goes, where's the leader of Team Styx? And X goes, he said she was needed elsewhere. Something about spy brooms.
See, I didn't like that because they, like, once it's all right, but they mentioned spy rooms like 3 times in this issue. And I did not like that they mentioned it 3 times.
You know,
I thought it was kind of dumb.
Well, you know what's weird? Like, without, it's hard, it's dumb to say spoilers for something as kind of inconsequential as what it turns out to be. That kind of plays a part in the Battle book. And Ryan Jampold, who was the writer and artist for that, he had no idea that it would be classed as in canon. But all of these in canon in terms of the crossover, but every story is, even the ones that Ian didn't write, they're referenced. So like, Ian, because Ian writes, was writing all 12 issues of this arc. So like the Knuckles and Proto Man story, he doesn't write that, but it's referenced in an upcoming issue. And obviously like Sonic getting defeated by the Deadly Six, what have you, everything is referenced, which I thought was nice, because it could have just been 6 random. Because I thought it would just be 6 random. I thought it'd be like the Spider-Verse spin-off book. We just see like random battles that have nothing to do with the story. We just see where like Ultimate Spider-Man and like Miles Morales went for like a day, and then it doesn't affect the overall plot. I thought it'd be there, but I kind of like the fact that they tie in and like kind of add more depth, as it were. And then we cut back to Eggman and Wily on the Lost Hex, kind of trying to escape from the Deadly Six, when who should pop out of a weird time portal but Xander Payne.
Bring in the pain, it's Xander Payne. Eyeball making portals. Portal balls. Eyes. I don't know.
So Eggman and Wily leave in the kind of makeshift Genesis. Would you really call that a Genesis portal? Because their portrayed as always been purple,
Yeah,
and this one's yellow.
Is he from the Mega Man games or just the comic?
No,
Well,
he's an original character from the
Okay.
book.
They refer to it as, was that a Genesis portal? I assume it's related to it.
Have you made the
but I
joke
don't know.
yet that they should be called Mega Drive Portal?
Yes, in the European version of this book, they've all been changed to Mega Drive portals.
That name sucks.
It's the actual name though for that console.
I don't care.
Does
The Japanese called it Mega Drive. That's where it came from. It's the official name.
Sega Genesis.
It would work if the Master System wasn't the first console they released.
Genesis.
there was actually a console before that too that Sega released.
Exactly, TJ, you're an idiot.
Just the name sounds so much cooler and
No, it-
edgier.
It
It's like turn.
Blast processing.
Mega Drive! It's Mega! Genesis.
Blast processing.
Genesis.
Genesis.
Oh, we've got naked people eating.
That's how you're supposed to say it. So, does anyone else think
Yeah.
that Xander Payne is a little dull in comparison to
Oh God,
how
thank
he's-
you.
how he usually is portrayed?
'Cause
Because
again-
like I liked his introductory arc a lot. Like that was one of my favorite.
When he's going
arcs.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. It's weird because it's a problem you get. It's a problem that a lot of like big superhero movies face when you have so many characters. I mean, that's what happened in say Age of Ultron. Like, there's so many characters. Like characters like Thor and Bruce Banner are kind of overlooked. Because they're trying to juggle so many pieces, and because we have in terms of villains now. So Worlds Collide had 2 villains, Eggman and Wily. Now in this one we have up to 4. We have Zigma and added Xander Payne. So already that's double the amount of villains you had in the first crossover.
See, and they're not even really painting him as much of a villain right now. He's more of a plot device. To
it's
transport them around.
if you haven't read the book, he comes out because again he's not in the games. He is like, what is if someone going into this haven't read none of the books and just played the games. Like, I can see them being like, obviously they try and explain stuff, but it's still just like, who is this guy, and what is going on?
Yeah, I've never read any of the Mega Man books that have him in it, so I'm like,
How far into are you?
the Mega Man books I only got like some of the Dawn of X issues. I didn't collect.
He's
that
in there.
many. Is he?
Yeah.
I don't think I read them.
Bobby's
See,
pathetic.
I don't read issues.
You're the reason Mega Man's being canceled.
Xander
Sorry.
Payne is a
I hate you, Bobby.
Xander Payne is a really awesome villain for Mega Man. He's this anti-technology terrorist.
Yeah, who hates robots.
Yeah, he wants
Okay.
to destroy all technology, and it's a really nice. Because I like that it's like, okay, we can have more villains than just Wily. Because I think you
Yeah.
know, like with Eggman, you know, I like Eggman, but I wouldn't mind Sonic just fighting someone else every once in a while.
But also the thing with Eggman is that you can, it's different in terms of Mega Man. You can only really use the robot masters that are associated with those games.
Yeah.
So like it's different with like the original light robots because you know they did keep those around, so that kind of makes sense. But like, and they've used like machinery / magic to bring back like the Mega Man 2 robot master and the Mega Man 3 ones. So it's kind of like it's with Eggman you can keep bringing back Metal Sonic as many times as you want, and any robots he's or ships he's had in the games. It's easier to keep Eggman like the only central villain, but have lots of, let's say, like sub bosses for Sonic to fight in the books. It's harder in Mega Man until they get to 7 when they can bring in Bass. You know, it's harder to you know, they kind of have to come up with original ones because you can't just keep. Also, it would get dull if it was like, oh, it's the Mega Man 2 robots again. You know, oh, it's the Mega Man 3 robots again.
Right,
I don't
there's
know what
not
you're
like
talking
a
about.
really fleshed out villain from the Mega Man games besides Wily. And
Because
then obviously the Robot
well,
Master.
spoiler alert, he's the villain in every single game.
Yeah.
Even the
Yeah.
ones
That's
where,
what-
even the ones where it's like, oh, it's Dr. Cossack, not really. Why he's making him do it? Oh, it's Proto Man, not really. Why he's making him do it? You know.
That's why. That's what I thought. Like, I thought it would have been a cool twist if like Xander Payne was like young Wily, like from the past came to the future and like lost his memories and was like, my name's Xander Payne. So like it could have just been like that whole thing where it's just like, oh, it's Wily again. It's always Wily.
Well, they tied it.
You see the beginning of a mustache.
And
Yeah,
he
exactly.
starts losing his hair. Well, they tied him because in like they don't really show it in the first arc, but it's when they introduce him in arc 4 of Spiritual Ex Machina. There's a flashback where we see during when Mega Man's fighting Elecman, like Elecman like shoots Xander in the face and makes him lose an eye, which is that's what causes him to hate robotics.
Yeah.
Which again, that's kind of dark for like again Mega Man's primarily a like little children's franchise. I mean, obviously it was tough as nails game, but like the character designs was always skewed more towards young children. And so Mega Man, the book's gone pretty dark over the last couple arcs. But I mean that's what started off the whole. Oh, you know, this is starting to get slightly more adult. Well, you know,
Yeah.
Elecman blows this guy's eyeball. You know. Yeah. So then we cut back to as it says, aboard the Sky Patrol War Room. And they have the leaders from all the teams. There's like Sally and Sonic are kind of in charge of Freedom Fighters, what have you, X and the Maverick Hunters, and then I believe they say Flashman is he's been appointed head of the Robot Masters, just so they don't have to have everyone in the same scene. And it's
Yeah, that'd be a pain to draw all of the Robot Masters every panel.
Yeah, so
in that
like
room.
I'm sure Trey Ian was thinking, to make it easier on the artists, I just have one,
They have a
central.
leader for each
Yeah.
group.
And then Styx comes flying in and talks about, spy room
again.
neutralized, blah 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 blah. And then Sally lets X do the talking, as again X knows the most about Sigma. Then Sigma just kind of gives us a little rundown. X gives us a little rundown of Sigma, who he was. He's back to how who he was, their leader. He was a Maverick Hunter. Then he got corrupted by the Maverick virus, and he's just this insane. He's like the biggest enemy.
Bald head.
And that's why Flashman's there. I can relate. Speaking of bald heads, one of their upcoming variants is the bald.
The variant for the latest issue is.
Oh,
bald is
what
beautiful.
issue 8?
Yeah, or part 8. Yeah,
Nah.
it's a really good cover.
It's by Diana Skelly. isn't
Oh
it?
yeah, it's I
love
love
her,
Eggman in the front, in the foreground.
Is it the
He's-
rose in his mouth?
Yeah, and he's got
Pose.
these tassels on his shoulders. Super sexy.
Sexy Eggman.
And
Sexy Wario.
there's a bit where I like when he's talking. X is explaining stuff, and someone's like, question. He puts his hand up, like, question. Where is this guy? And X starts talking about how we have to try and find him, and it will take time. So I was like, yeah, no, like too slow. Let's go find him now. Let's go find him and just punch him. You know, like, I love how like that's one thing I will say. While we, you know, characters like Xander Payne aren't as on point as they have been in the past, Ian keeps Sonic.
Yeah.
Even with his kind of reduced, for lack of a better word, screen time, even though it's a book, like he's still like every one of his lines feels like a Sonic line. Where sometimes with some of the other characters, like, you know, sometimes characters like X and Axel and Zero, their lines can almost be interchangeable.
Yeah.
Because there's no real like, oh, this is clearly X saying this, or
Yeah,
this is
there's no
clearly Zero.
personality
Yeah,
behind the
yeah.
dialogue for a lot of
Well,
characters.
And with Xander Payne, I almost think that maybe it's a plot point that he's not as
Crazy as he was in the past.
Doesn't have as much of a character in the past.
Yeah, he just keeps talking about this is my destiny.
Yeah,
seems-
he seems more reflective now as he has in the past. Like
Yeah.
in the past, he's like death to all robots. Now he kind of like, it's almost like he knows what the end game is, so he doesn't have to be as crazy. Like,
Well, he's the one who saw that this was going to happen,
Yeah.
right?
yeah,
I
Okay.
hope we get. I hope he gets a little crazy though. You know,
Maybe.
goes out and parties. He's like, woo!
Experiences his 20s.
he goes out and buys a 2-year subscription for Mega Man, even though there's only 4 issues left.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's what happens when you're young. You're full of passion and
Passion and pride.
Passion.
Why'd you have to say that?
Just like all Sonic fans, too much passion, too little pride. And then just as they're talking, Eggman and Wily and Xander Payne come in through the not Genesis. We'll call you know what, JJ? We'll call these the Mega Drive portals.
Because they're
Well-
inferior to the Genesis portals. Oh God, I'm sorry.
And they walk in, and I like this. This is, and you can tell this is in canon because this is Mega Man finding out Wily's alive.
Yeah.
Because of course in the Mega Man book, Wily faked his own death. So Mega Man, for the last few issues, he's thought that Wily's dead. So he comes in and finds out that he's alive, and then the first thing that they do is throw him in jail, like
Well,
in
of
their
course.
brig.
I thought that was a nice transition. It's like they're all happy and it's all bright. Oh, it's Eggman and Wily. Then the next panel, they're behind bars.
Slam.
Slam.
It's like,
I liked that Sonic says something about questioning whether or not there should be a brig, and then being like, well, I guess since we're using it,
Yeah, he
they're
goes.
wrong, you
He
know?
goes. I gotta apologize to Tails and Roto. I told him I thought having a brig was unnecessary. I like that. It's a
It's
good one.
really kind of like you're only gonna put Eggman in there, really, unless I don't know, Team Hooligans or something.
Team
I guess. I don't
Hooligans.
know.
And so they're talking about, you know, they start talking about, you know, do they know where Sigma is? And Wily and Eggman are like, yes, we do, and we'll help you, but only if you let us out and like you treat us like equal partners in this. And so X is like we don't have time for games. We need to take these two down as quick as they can. Opens the gates, lets them out. Xander Payne just sits there. And like Whitey's like, you coming or what, dude? Like, let's get the shit on the road, sunshine. And
Destiny!
you cannot defeat my destiny. Then he rips off his own leg and explodes.
Yeah.
Xander Payne in this arc, Xander Payne is portrayed by Unicron,
Orson Welles.
Orson Welles. And then there's a moment where, you know, Sonic's like, you know, so I guess it was you two chumps who turned us into robots, you know. Like, yeah, we did. That's cool. Let's go destroy Sigma. And then there's a nice bit where Sonic and Mega Man are preparing lunch for everyone, and Mega Man has a bunch of E-tanks, and Sonic's made a bunch of chili dogs.
Yeah.
It's adorable. I like it.
Do you think that's the only thing he knows how to cook?
Most likely.
probably.
And then here we get into some of the best fan service moments. There's a bit where Styx is talking to Knuckles, and she goes,
I love
he
that
goes,
panel.
you say I can be stronger, and she goes, yeah, and bigger. Come on, we gotta bulk you up. Some good stuff there. I like that.
Yeah.
Styx has a couple good influencing moments in this
Yeah.
issue.
Mm. And then, you know, there's bitch they're trying to power up. They're trying to power up the Sky Patrol.
With the Red Star ring from
Spark of Life.
yeah.
Bringing us, it's all connecting. It's all connecting. And there's a weird moment where Wily, he sees Zero, And he says, I'm admiring the design of these other robots. That one in particular, meaning Zero, looks like something I'd build. I disagree.
Like,
Zero-
no, you see that all of his robots have long blonde ponytails.
But I'm just saying, in terms of Zero's design, like it's a very atypical Wily design.
Right.
Because a lot of Wily, if you look at a lot of the Robot Masters, they're goofy as hell. You know, most of them aren't even kind of humanoid shaped.
Yeah.
You know, like very.
Right.
It's weird. After like Mega Man like 4-ish, they became well. 8 is an exception. A lot of the ones in 8 look have a humanoid shape, but a lot of them, they're not human shaped. You know, it's kind of weird.
Like my favorite Sheep Man.
Is sheep? You know what I mean?
Oh,
I
Sheep
mean,
Man.
I'm looking at my wall, and I have like a wall scroll of Mega Man 10 with the Mega Man 10 Robot Masters. Like you got like Sheep Man, you know, like a lot of these just don't like Strike Man, for God's sakes. You know, like none of these look anything like even close to Zero.
yeah.
You know,
Well, see, and another thing is Zero and the like Mega Man X and the classic Mega Man characters have like completely different like design aspects. It's like
what's like
X has, or the X characters have all this armor and crud, like
Yeah, they're
extra
more
detail.
angular.
Well,
It's
I'm-
like the
in a lot.
'90s comic book version of like it's like Liefeld drawing Mega Man.
Wait, no, it's almost like all the Mega Man Robot Masters / main characters. They kind of have the proportions of children.
Yeah.
Smaller
Yeah.
limbs. The Mega Man X characters are like adults. You know, longer limbs, like more humanoid proportions, what have you.
So what you're saying is once I go through puberty, I'm gonna get football pads.
Yes.
Okay.
You will become Jonathan X.
Jonathan X. Yeah.
You
So
will
I'll be boring.
No, Jonathan Q.
Jonathan Q.
That's not canon with this. You don't get to dictate what Jonathan turns into. Only I do.
So there's Boom
All right,
Jon-
Gareth R.
Everybody
Supersonic
Supersonic
Aaron.
racing. Why would it be supersonic, Gareth? You get out.
Gareth Racing.
And then there's the best team up of all time. We get a nice little couple panels of Breakman and Comedy Chimp.
Yep.
I can't wait till their buddy comedy this summer.
I really like the 2 panels we get of Quake Woman and Nicole interacting. Like, emotions are weird, aren't they?
Mm.
Yeah. But it's pretty okay, right?
There's a nice bit where like Breakman's holding like a big girder, and Comedy Chimp is like this little like bucket full of like nuts and bolts. And Comedy Chimp's just like, hey, what's with the scarf? What's with the helmet? Give me the cold shoulder, right? Am I gonna need some antifreeze? And Breakman, without saying a word, just like turns around, looks at him, takes the bucket and walks off.
No respect. No. Just imagine
Comedy
comedy
Chimp
Chimp
just goes,
is like
can't get no respect.
Rodney Dangerfield.
Oh.
Then we get some nice scenes of Tails kind of complimenting Wily for some of his different robot designs, like Sparkman, Woodman, and Bubbleman. And that's the bit where Wily just goes jealous, and Eggman goes no. Well, maybe little.
Yeah. So throughout the issue, we've been having little scenes with Styx, and some of those scenes have been Styx talking at Xander Payne, and Xander Payne just staring there, very creepy, very like Destiny like. But here, Styx really actually elicits a response from Xander Payne by
And
saying,
you know, like Ian was just like building to this
Yeah.
moment from Styx. Go on, Jonathan, read out.
yeah, but what about the Illuminati? And Xander responds, they're a front! They're a fake group created by the Masons and the Templars to throw everyone off their trail. And Styx responds, what? That's crazy.
When she says it's crazy,
You know,
girl, it's crazy.
Cuckoo.
And then we get some nice moments of Sally being annoyed, like, I knew I should have had Bunny or Antoine make lunch. When she sees that all there is chili dogs.
Chili dogs and E-tanks.
well, she's got a bottle of, I assume, water or Propel energy drink.
Probably Propel's not energy.
Energy water? I don't know. I don't drink it.
It's just flavored water.
I don't drink it. I don't know.
I don't drink water.
And then
Yeah.
we cut to one of the best gags. It's just Sonic going, what? And Styx goes, how can you fight evil without your sports tape? And Sonic just goes, I repeat, what? Ian has said this. I believe he said it on his forum, and he said it to I heard him repeat it several times at Heroes Con. He said the original line was, Styx says, why did you shave your arms? But apparently Sega were like, don't say that. Make a joke about the sports tape. And Ian was like, okay, fine. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't get why the arm shaving thing was like a hot point, but the sports tape looks just as well.
Triggered.
I actually think the sports tape was a funnier gag.
Yeah.
I think that's
I
what
do.
Sega was getting at, because they're like, well, we know that we think that the sports tape is a more recognizable difference than the blue arms.
Yeah.
Or in a more of a maybe a sticking point.
Well,
than the
see,
blue
I think
arms.
that was a big, when the boom designs were first revealed, like the two biggest things were, what the hell did you do to Knuckles? And what's all the sports tape?
Why is everyone so sticky?
What's everyone got broken arms for? Oh God!
Why is Sonic part of the Sticky Bandits now? Sonic Boom is a sequel to Home Alone 2.
I mean the Whip Bandits. Oh no, they're Sticky
no,
Bandits.
The Sticky
Yeah,
Bandits
they
I'm
is
gonna
almost
do
Sticky
it.
Bandits too.
I'm for the Whip Bandits. They
Well,
would just,
yeah, it is
they
better,
would just
but-
like flood people's homes. And there's a nice moment where I can't repeat what TJ said, but there's a moment where Wiley's working on Shadow Man, and Wiley goes, of all my creations, which, let's be fair, Ra Moon created him, I'm surprised you went over to Thomas' side. And Shadow Man just goes, I went to his side, so it would be easier to stab him in the back, Master. And Wiley goes, I see. We'll worry about that after we deal with Sigma. And TJ just said, Shadow Man has such a blank, emotionless look in his face that TJ just said, man, Shadow Man is metal as expletive deleted. He's metal.
Oh! Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like.
Okay.
He's
yeah,
metal.
Yeah.
And also he's a robot. So,
That
also,
kind of metal.
also he's metal.
He's also made him. Ha ha!
So Sigma starts to launch an attack, and then Zavok comes to tell him that we've been discovered, because obviously Eggman and Wily know where they are on the Lost X, and Sigma just says it's kind of too early for us to stop. Oh, sorry, we're too close to finishing to stop now. Zavok, take the Deadly Six and just kill him. And Zavok's like, yes, Master. And then the issue ends with like all of the teams are kind of getting ready to have the Maverick Hunters, Freedom Fighters, Robot Masters, Team Sticks.
Team Sticks.
There's a great, that's possibly my favorite image of Fastidious Beaver. Look at his face. It's a mixture between I don't care and bring it on. It's like the look on his face.
I love that his expression too, like never changes. The
Yeah.
entire crossover.
Actually, I'm ready to fight some robots now. And then
Thank you.
there's a really nice thing where Comedy Chimp says, I know Showbiz saying comes to mind, dying is easy, comedy is hard. And then it ends with a bunch of robots from the Mega Man X series, a bunch of the sub bosses, and the Deadly Six are about to attack the Sky Patrol.
It looks kind of like the Deadly Six were out like having lunch or something, and they're like, oh wait, what's that in the sky?
So there ends part 1 of World Unites. Sorry, part 5, part 1 of the second arc. What do you guys think?
It was pretty good. It was
It had
alright,
some
I
really
like it.
good character interaction.
Mm.
I think the art I'm not a huge fan of, and the coloring,
No.
but
It's weird how. So for Worlds Collide, and I always forget who did Arc 1.
it's Jamal Peppers,
Jamal Peppers.
but then Ryan Jampel had a part in part 4.
Yeah, so Worlds Collide is kind of like the Sonic / Mega Man Superstar team. Like in terms of pencilers, 4 artists who are just at the top of their game. Tracy of Arc 2, Tracy the Sonic Superstar, and Ben Bates just doing some of the finest artwork ever to grace a comic book, in my opinion.
Like the 2-page spreads that he did.
There's
and
so many
that-
2-page spreads. It's
they're
so
so
good.
good.
It's weird because Edwin Huang he draws the Mega Man characters pretty well.
Yeah, you can tell he's used to drawing characters like how we discussed earlier. He does a Street Fighter comic, so he does more human characters.
Humanoid character.
Better. You can tell he's not used to drawing the Sonic characters.
Yeah, because this
especially the eyes, because the eyes sometimes seem kind of
dead.
and
Yeah.
somewhat like they're too far apart, or they're just not the right distance for me.
Yeah, but
It's-
even Eggman looks off to me.
It's it's weird though because in certain panels like everything will be on model and looking great, but in other ones it looks off and unfortunately not so much in this one, but the further along we go into this arc, the ratio of off panels to on, it slides
yeah, I
badly
noticed that.
towards off.
I would also have to say that I think further into the arc, the less and less I like his panel layout as well, because it gets to the point where you can really tell that it's a bunch of boxes.
Kind of gets lazier as it goes.
Yeah, well, it's just it feels some pages it feels really like confined by the panel. There's a couple things in here that have nice breaks in this first issue of the arc, but I think it kind of gets downplayed coming up, and there's a lot more issues I have with like panel layout and composition of the panels coming up.
Yeah.
And I think that's partially to do with the setting as well, which we will get to.
Yes,
I
you
will say
kind of
one
an odd
thing.
setting.
He draws a darn good Airman. For some reason, I just really like his
You love
Airman.
Airman.
I just like his design, but like the way he drew Airman, like on that last page, I thought was especially good.
I have to get back to it now. Is Airman. Yeah, man. Again, the Mega Man characters pretty good. It's unfortunately it's the Sonic characters where he tends to they go
Fall off.
they
Kinda
go
awkward.
really off model.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much the classic or the main Sonic characters and the Archie Sonic characters, but he does a pretty good job with Styx, Comedy Chimp, and especially Fastidious Beaver.
Yeah,
I
the boom
noticed that.
characters are really they're on point, you know.
Right.
You know, I also found his Roto's not bad as well. His Rota tends to stay pretty on model, but as we'll
There's
see,
one or two that is a little iffy for me.
yeah.
You know.
But that's issue 1. Issue 5. I thought was a good start to Arc 2.
I think that this arc has really good bookends. Like, I think the first issue and the last issue of this arc are pretty good. Like, they're not as... I would say Arc 1, like, every issue of Arc 1 is better than the issues in Arc 2, but...
And then we have... we then move on to World Unite 6, Sonic Boom, issue 9.
Yeah.
So World Unite Part 6, Fire in the Sky, writer Ian Flynn, pencils Edwin Huang, inks Gary Martin, colors by Gabriel Cassada, and letters by John Workman. Oh, something we didn't do for the earlier parts, of course, we have, in terms of the covers, we have the regular cover by Spaz. Issue 6 has the Evil Friends Forever variant by Brent McCarthy.
Which, remembering how fun the Evil Friends Forever covers were from Worlds Collide.
Like them camping or playing video games.
Yeah, riding a
Riding
two-man bicycle.
The tandem with the
I love
champagne
that.
is, oh
That's
god,
this
so
is
good.
kind of a letdown because it's
Yeah.
just them like standing all together, having their arms around each other. It's like, well, they were really having fun in the first set of variants, but you know.
Which, you know what, just for the sake of me doing it, I want to quickly go back and because we didn't talk about the covers for issue 5, just so we name drop everyone.
Which for part 2, if you notice real quick, the credits are on the front. Now,
Yes, it's awkward.
they
I don't like
switched
it. So to go back quickly to World Unite Part 5, the covers we had, again, standard cover by Spaz. The One Big Happy Team variant was by Klaus Justin Harder, and of course the World Unite variant poster, it was by Ben Bates. So back to Fire in the Sky, it starts with the all the teams are about to start attacking
See,
the
right
sub-monsters.
away with this issue, I like that Sonic's eyes are kind of weird to me.
that I have
Knuckles
some major issues with Knuckles
is-
there.
is and I like Styx's mouth is even kind of like frightening to me, but I don't know.
My biggest thing is, and it's something we get into a lot. There's a pages 2 and 3. There's like a 2-page spread of like the heroes going to attack the robots. Two things you notice a lot is that one, the background is pretty much just blue,
Yes.
Yeah.
and two, there is so much dead space. Like this could have been one page.
Yeah.
It's so much, and again,
See,
to go back to a lot of the 2-page spreads in Worlds Collide Act 3, when like Ben Bates was, when they were fighting the Robot Masters, they would feel like Ben Bates would feel like every
Right.
pixel of the artwork of like, you know, either background or a Robot Master or like a fight in the background. This again, it's not to harp on too much, but there's like, it's a waste of a 2-page spread. It's very underwhelming.
Well,
see, one of my biggest problems with this arc is that it takes place on and around the Sky Patrol.
Yep.
And they don't like Edwin Huang isn't really playing with the idea of you're in the sky very well, because you could be drawing clouds, you could be drawing
like the
maybe
ground
something
way down low beneath them.
something that indicates that they're in the sky than just leaving it blank.
Well, I don't think there's any clouds because aren't they're in the combined world, so it's kind of, I don't think it really has an atmosphere.
How are they breathing then?
There's an air and space museum.
Well, Sonic can breathe in space. And Mega Man's a robot.
But I'm saying visually
It's very empty and dull.
Yes.
Well,
yeah.
And especially since we get like 4 issues of being in this
Fighting on the sky.
fighting in the sky when we have the combined world below us, and I'm kind of like, why can't we see the combined world? Like,
Combiner Wars.
why can't we see the Combiner Wars? I don't care if this is a Sonic book. Give me Devastator. But, you know, it would be much more fun to, or go to Lost Hex and like fight on the Lost Hex.
Yeah,
But
Windy Hill and
Does,
Desert Ruins and
Sky Road. Why are
But
we in
it's like-
Sky Road? That's in the sky.
Hold on.
Mash together a Mega Man zone and a Sonic, or a Mega Man level and a Sonic level, and have them fight there.
Now that Jonathan is mentioning this, does it feel like most of these artists on this series so far have been pretty lazy?
I wouldn't say lazy, because I would
No.
say the first arc is some pretty good background work.
yeah, Dan
Yeah.
Tuning. Well, and even he was on Twitter, and I have major respect for him because he's like, I got some negative feedback because people didn't really like my Sonic characters, and he wanted people to tell him what he can do better in the future. Which for a professional comic artist to ask for people's critique, I thought that was pretty cool. So and he did a pretty good job.
I liked him, I liked him.
You could
I
just
feel
tell he
bad
wasn't
that
as
I was
used
like,
to
I don't
it.
really like the Spuds in Sonic. I
You
mean, I
petty
don't wanna,
child.
I'm so,
That's like, that reminds me when Matt Herm said that he was like listening to it while he was coloring. I was like, oh God, I said such bad things about Boom.
I'm like, people who actually work on the comics listen to this.
I didn't say anything bad about Herms. I was just like, oh God.
I just wanna apologize for anyone who officially works on Archie. If you have to listen to this, because you have better things to do than listen to this podcast.
Well, just know that we cannot do it any better when we say this.
Bobby can.
Yeah, Bobby Keane.
Bobby can.
No,
Archie, hire this man.
Yeah.
Cancel Jughead and hire Bobby.
Who needs Chip Zdarsky? We got Bobby Hardy, damn it.
So instead of a Jughead book, Bobby's gonna draw a book about Bobby. And it's gonna be called Bobby.
There you
Bobby's
go.
World.
Bobby's
World.
That is a really bad show. They have it on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Harry Mandel hasn't used that franchise in like 15 years. Bobby can take it now. It's fine.
It's
There you go.
such a bad show.
And so this, it starts with this, they're kind of just fighting a bunch of robots, nothing too good. Comedy Chip and Fastidious Beaver run away.
Yeah, and the coloring really could have made it pop more too, because like we just discussed, as far as the background just being a sky,
And
it's
you
not
have
very
you have a
vibrant.
blue background and you have a blue like blue main characters.
Yeah, three
And-
of the four, main leaders are Sonic,
Yeah.
X, Mega Man, and not
It's
Sticks.
so it's like at some points it's like whoa.
I will say that there's there's a moment where there's kind of a four horizontal panel page, where in the background you see Sticks chasing Fastidious Beaver and Comedy Chin, but then you see them being chased by something, and then Sticks on the floor pleading for them to come back, and then her like throwing the boomerang at them too. There are some nice moments. Again, so like any. In this talk, a lot of the good points come from, and again, something like this. Ian always said that he's very. He always said depending on the artist and depending on how much experience he's had with them, like he goes very back and forth. Like with like Tracy will sometimes add stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like I'm always curious to know like how much of this is written into, like if Ian wrote. I'm sure with this page, because it's nothing but like different teams fighting, that Ian probably did write Sticks chasing
Yeah,
them.
right.
I really like Bunny and Breakman teaming up.
I was just about to say that.
That's I think that's a really neat
Bunny Man.
Bunny Man.
I also like Big and Hard Man too, on that one page.
The two big purple powerhouses.
Purple Powerhouses. Make it happen, Archie. That's the new book you're doing.
That's the new book that Bobby's going to be on, Purple Powerhouses.
Oh yeah.
And then, there's bits where, so then we have Sally, Cream, Roll, and Nicole up in the Sky Patrol kind of monitoring friends from above. And, they're kind of keeping the situation, like, Roll's like, Woodman, Antoine needs support. Brakeman, Airman needs help. And
I
that
thought you said Ant-Man.
That's what I
Ant-Man.
thought you
Ant-Man.
said too.
Marvel, Ant-Man needs support, he needs a sequel. Give him a sequel.
Marvel, Ant-Man needs some Sonic characters in his book. Put them in there.
Put Knuckles in Ant-Man.
So
Because-
it's Ant-Man and Knuckles.
Well, no, because echidnas are anteaters.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are you?
Secret
are you
villain
saying-
for Ant-Man 2, and Knuckles! And it cuts back to Eggman and Whitey are working on kind of a machine that's trying to help turn the tide against the Maverick bosses. And again, it's I'm sure Jonathan loves this moment because Antoine takes down a giant dragon by himself. It's kind of cool.
I do.
The problem with this is, and it's the fact that they're just fighting kind of like characterless mini bosses from the X series. They don't have the same wow factor or the same personality as the Robot Master fight and say Sonic Issue 250.
Yeah.
Right.
Because there's lots of great things where like especially in that issue where like Ian pairs up characters who make sense. Like he has Blaze, the scenes frames where like Blaze is taking on all the various fire themed Robot Masters. There's one of my favorites. Two of my favorite things. It's Vector and Snake Man. Falling down a hill where Vector's going, "You're a disgrace to reptiles everywhere." And like Shadow Man and Espio have a very kind of honor themed fight because they're both ninjas. There's nothing like that of them like mixing up particular heroes with the kind of their X themed counterparts.
Right, or even Sonic, like with Ringman, trying to collect his rings.
And then like him looking at Strike Man, she'd be like, "What are you?
Yeah.
Like, why are you
looking down
here?"
in shame.
Or the stuff with like Sonic and Quickman. Like there's some great stuff there.
I loved that.
Yeah.
You're quick man, but you're not fast. I like that. I like that a lot. There's not a lot of
It just lacks personality.
Yeah, it's just very like going through the motions. Like
There's not a lot of
Well,
plot.
it's-
I mean, we cut back to like Sigma every once in a while. He's just like, I'm about to take my
I'm
next.
still here and evil.
It's like I'm about to take the next evolutionary stage. Blah blah blah. And then there's a
We're
moment.
gonna combine my DNA with some amphibians, and then we'll see what happens.
Welcome,
Nature found a way, and
welcome to Sigma Park. And then
You just package it. You package it. Now you're selling it. You're selling it.
see the
ba
prob-
ba 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 ba.
See, the problem is, Archie, you and your people were so busy thinking about whether you could do a sequel to Worlds Collide, you didn't start to think about whether you should. And there's
Oh God!
We like Worlds Unite. We like Worlds Unite.
I like Ike.
No, I've said that. I said this in the last issue, in the last episode rather, and again, I said it to Ian. I'm liking this so far, but it's so soon after Worlds Collide. It does scream of we need another crossover.
Yeah.
Like we need another event rather than letting this letting it organically go to another meeting of Sonic and Mega Man. Because it's very just kind of like, okay, he's crossover now. You know, I mean, obviously in Worlds Collide was that, and they said in the backstory behind the scenes they did shuffle things around.
Right.
But because they thought it was going to be a once in a lifetime meeting.
Yeah.
This one just feels like, you wanna do this? We got the rights back to X and Boom. May as well. We're gonna cancel Boom anyway. May as well get it over with now.
Well, and again, I mean, I know this isn't until the next arc, but you have the rights to all of these Sega and Capcom franchises. You know, expand on that. Make that the main selling point of this arc. We've already seen Sonic and Mega Man crossover. It would be really cool to make the Sega universe and Capcom universe the main focal point.
As me and Jonathan will say when we get to the end of it, this arc feels like a Twilight film. It's stretched out. This arc does not need to be 4 issues.
Yeah.
The 2 middle issues, I could have lived without. There's a couple things that I really like from them, but it's like that first issue of the arc and that last issue of the arc are really good, and then the 2 in the middle are just
stuff happens.
Stuff happens.
Like, and not all like I was about to say, like, in terms of plot in this issue, the biggest thing of consequence that Zomom knocks Styx off the ship and she falls into a Genesis portal.
Which is a really great page. Like, I like this page.
There's a nice moment, as one of my favorite lines is it too much to ask if somebody saw that? Preferably one of the flying guys. And she's like, nope. Okay.
Those 2 panels of Styx are really, really lovely.
Again,
I really like that.
Again, this artist, like Edwin, he draws Styx really well.
Yeah, he's a really good artist. It's just
we've been over this before in terms of Archie. Sometimes people who come onto the Sonic book, and as Bobby said, he draws a Street Fighter book. You know, it's no spoiler to say that those characters show up in this storyline.
They look really good.
And maybe we'll see someone's shadow on the next page.
But it's just like it's just that not everyone who's good at drawing humanoids can draw, anthropomorphic animals.
Well, it's not even. He can clearly draw Styx. It's just I think the style is just a little bit foreign to him because it's a very it's a very particular style, and it's not even a terrible thing to deviate from the style. I mean, I think that a lot of it's kind of our personal preferences, and because it's like I mentioned Dawn Best earlier. I wouldn't say that her art is Sega's Sonic, but I like her art. Like I like her, how she draws
her own
Sonic,
take.
Well, but when Alex B was talking about like Evan Stanley, I wouldn't say that Evan Stanley's art is it. If you were to place an Evan Stanley picture with like a official Sonic Team Sonic 2D render, they don't really look that close at all. Yeah. But her art style works with these characters, and again, it gets Styx, so he gets. I think the Mega Man characters on the most part look pretty damn good.
Right.
Yeah, it's just unfortunately just his artist style doesn't fit.
Mostly Sally, and then sometimes Sonic for me.
Yes, Sally is almost. Really unfortunately, weird. I can't. Sally is almost always looking weird.
Yeah, she looks like a real world chipmunk, like her face.
Yeah. Well, her muzzle is.
Yeah. And Knuckles is the other one, because I love Knuckles, but...
I thought Amy looks weird as well. Amy and Tails.
Every once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as we said, she goes to a Genesis portal and lands in a human looking world, and we see someone with a shadow loom over her, who appears to have the same kind of spiky, what would you say, wrist braces like Zaz does.
Right.
And
Wow.
kind of seems to have maybe some buns in her hair and
Prince Leia.
a kind of blue dress with yellow
You
with a
can't
little
see
hinge.
that.
It's there. What are you?
Right there.
Oh, you're
blind?
right. I didn't even. Oh, go on.
Acting like we're ruining it.
And it cuts back to the ship, and there are various points. There's a nice panel of Bunny just smacking Xena in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah, and see, I like that Sonic there.
Yeah.
That looks.
Yeah.
That's
a really good
perfectly
Sonic.
fine. Yeah, in both of those panels.
And then we have some nice stuff of them attacking the Deadly Six, and Flashman and Breakman give Road to cover as he just charges. Zor, and then we have a nice one
That's
of.
so goofily awesome
Yeah, I
that
know,
they're
right?
just like, let's shoot him. I'll punch him.
Then we have General and Big just punching Zomom. My personal favorite though is Woodman gives Knuckles his leaf shield. And
I like this Knuckles face.
and he-
he's
yeah.
so confused.
And he
Yeah.
runs up to Zaz and just says, "Hey, ugly, let's see if we got a glass jaw," and just cracks Zaz right on the chin. It's mwah, beautiful. And then there's not a lot of stuff here. And then Sonic attacks Zavok, and he does the block, which he does in the game, which
Yeah.
is kind of nice. And then
But- But Zavok doesn't breathe fire. It comes out of his palm in the game. Does he?
it's been a while since I played
Yeah,
Lost
he
World.
like puts his hand out and the fire.
Hadouken!
come out. Yeah, that's a Hadouken.
But doesn't when the last time you fight him and he turns into Giant Bowser, Giant Zavok, he shoots fireballs then from his mouth.
Does he?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he does.
I,
'Cause he-
can't-
'cause
I
he-
try
he's-
to block that boss fight
Because
out.
he's holding onto the wall as he climbs up,
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
and then Mega Man X just blasts Zavok.
Yeah,
But
I
Zavok,
like the power up effect that he does. I think that's really neat looking.
Yeah.
and then it ends with like they kind of have the Deadly Six defeated, but then they pull the old. Oh, did you forget? We can control robots.
The uncanny and convenient ability to
You know what? You
control
know what sucks? I wish. You know what? I wish they would have made a reference to them already doing that to Mega Man because he's there.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I wish, like, cause
Like Mega Man going, oh, crap, they've already done this to me before.
yeah, cause the all six are there. So Zaz, Zomom, and Zik. One of them could just be like, "Hey, Blue Boy, let's do this again." But yeah, and so but this ends with like the all the robots, which to be fair they do outnumber the non-robotic
Yeah.
fighters at this
Yeah.
point. So saying, "I'm so sorry, we're gonna have to kill you now."
And this is a really good splash page, I think,
Yeah.
to end this issue on.
Yeah, it's a nice angle. And
I
the
I
layout's
think
really
this
nice for that.
it would have been better if there's a panel in the corner which shows like Mega Man shooting
Yeah.
Sonic. I wish if that was on the previous page, and then if this was just a single splash page, I think
That
it
would've
would have
been
been more
better.
effective.
Yeah.
Because you're cutting off Woodman's face, man, and Hardman's face.
It almost looks like
Get back your face, you will win this panel.
It looks like they clipped it out and then just put a little paper clip on and put it.
Yeah.
Well, now that
Don't
you
make
mention
fun of me.
it looks like he drew out a one-page splash
Yeah.
spread,
Yeah.
and then they edited that little
Oh,
panel
I hope
in.
that didn't happen.
Guys,
because this
I will
looks
say
really
one
good.
thing.
What?
Airman looks really good in this. I mean, look at him. He's
Issue
flying.
3 of the arc, part 7 of Worlds Unite.
Part 7 of Origin Sunk the Hedgehog, issue 274.
Unity no more.
One more issue and then we're at a milestone, guys.
Milestone.
Super excited.
We have World Unite Part 7, Gears and Wheels. Writer Ian Flynn, pencils Edward Huang, inks Gary Martin, colors Gabriel Cassiter, letters John Workman. Cover by Spaz. Heroes Collide throwback variant by Rafa Knight, and the Covers Unite variant by Ben Bates. So this just kind of starts with all the Robot Masters and the Maverick Hunters and Mega Man and Breakman kind of just firing on everyone, and everyone just tries to get away as they're being attacked.
I like the angle of Sonic running. I think this is a really nice opening page as well.
Yeah.
There's kind of a running theme in the last edition of Sonic always holding his arm like it's broken
Yeah.
or something.
Well, he got shot in the arm.
true. But like it's in some panels he'll be really like running fine. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, ow, yeah, my arm hurts. Forgot that.
Now here's after the first page though. Here's where it gets to be that there's a lot of there's a lot of space. That
Negative
could
/
be-
dead space, and just
Yeah.
every like on the second page is a variety of random panels, but they all just have a bland blue background. And I get the fact that they're going for sky,
Yeah.
but when there's
Yeah.
nothing there, it
There-
just looks so empty.
Well, there's nothing drawn in, and then for
Well,
colors, it's just very again bland.
Well, a few panels have like what they're standing on,
Yeah.
right.
but again, even though it's also just a flat kind of gradient color.
There's
know?
this panel with Mega Man shooting, and in the background, Rush is like barking at Tails' butt,
Yeah.
and the Tails and Rush are really small, like in the background and just kind of floating there. And I feel like that looks kind of awkward on the page because it's so it's almost like, okay, if I don't draw this here, it's just gonna be a blank space. So if only maybe it was a little bigger and
kind of at an angle, maybe.
maybe partially off panel, it would work better.
I will say that image of Mega Man shooting looks awesome.
Yeah,
That is a really good Mega Man. I like
Yeah.
that.
I like it too. Although I don't know the effect of him shooting the Mega Buster, that looks kind of strange. I don't know. It's like it too much of a like square angle.
Yeah, it looks like blocky,
Yeah.
kind of.
You know what it looks like? If you turn it slightly on its side, it looks like the symbol of the foot from the 4K Ninja Turtle show.
Kind of looks like he's shooting his shield.
A cellophane S.
Yeah, he's shooting
Like from
himself.
Superman.
Superman 2. There's a nice moment where Snake Man's attacking Rota and he goes, "So sorry about this." And Rota goes, "And why are you smiling?" And the Techman just goes, "Must be the Deadly Six."
Well, his weapon's so goofy. It's just like these little snakes that are just like
Search Snake!
I'm Snake Man. I'm gonna get you.
I'm Bright Man!
It's like, Bobby, have you seen the Mega Man cartoon?
No.
The Ruby Spears one.
Like,
No, I
like
haven't
the
seen
first episode, like they have just like the normal Robot Masters, and then slowly throughout the series, they sprinkle in the Robot Masters from like all the different Mega Man games.
I think only up to maybe 4 or 5. I don't think 6 in there.
Yeah, I don't think there's any 6. I think it's only up to 5. But the very like second episode, it opens with Bright Man. And he just runs up to these two guards and he flashes them and he goes,
I'm Bright Man! Stay out of Monsteropolis. And then we cut to Sally being like, "This ain't good. They're outnumbered 2-1." And then they're saying everyone has to stay here. Cream is too dangerous for you to go out. Raul, if you go out there, you'll turn crazy and want to kill everyone. So stay in here. And then it cuts back to Wily and Eggman. They're still working on their
Gun.
gun thing.
It looks like it's got a trigger on it. I didn't notice.
It looks
that
like a
before.
giant pistol.
It looks like a giant shotgun.
Yeah.
I think.
And
Yeah,
then
it
it
does.
cuts outside, and then Bunny kind of has a control over her because she's part robot, but like
Yeah,
she's able,
right.
cause she's more animal than robot. She's able to kind of control it. She's an animal. She's a rabbit.
I know that just sounds. She's more animal.
She's more animal than man.
I do like that. That panel is where she's just like,
Yeah, it's
no,
just like
I'm
a hand.
fine.
I got this, girl. And there's a moment
I
where
wish you would just start punching her.
she starts strangling herself. And then
You
where
just have
Fine.
Zaz. You just have
They
Zaz
do-
in the background. Stop hitting yourself.
that would have been amazing. Stop hitting yourself.
They do the whole Evil Dead thing with the hand, like.
Zai just goes like, "I know the perfect spot to make you hit yourself." I love that. That would have been amazing. And then Gemmo tries to attack Sally, and then Knuckles just uppercuts him like a boss.
Which I will say, I like how they use Gemerald, how Ian used Gemerald in this arc.
That's cool. It's
He's an
cool.
Underappreciated Sonic character.
And then Sally goes, "Thanks, Knuckles," and Knuckles goes, "No problem. That Breakman lives up to his name. You know, asterisk Sonic World United Battles issue 1.
Oh.
Maybe we'll talk about that next issue.
Next arc.
And then it cuts to like the Xena is making all the guns on the Sky Patrol kind of turn against him. And Zaz just goes like, "Hey boss, let's just take command of this entire thing and drive it into the ground." And Zavik just goes, "That would kill us." And then Zaz goes, "Yeah, but we could maybe escape first." That's why I love Zaz. He's my favorite. He's crazy. He's just crazy.
Yeah, and I think he's better written by Ian.
Who's
than-
Bowser? What's Bowser's name?
Well, oh, you mean rejected Pokemon? Zavok?
Zavok?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought he was rejected Skylander.
No, I still say he looks like.
Oh
Richard
my
Skylander.
god, he is a
Oh my
rejected
God.
Skylander.
Well, I always thought in terms of if there was any Pokemon game with like a fire starter, Zavok would be like the final form of like a fire starter in Pokemon.
That's
No.
not even his final form.
that's like stage 2.
Yeah, that's...
That's
That's the
unfair to
Charmeleon.
Pokemon, though, man. Come on.
Oh, let's be fair, Bob. Some of them designs is bad.
Alright, he's a Digimon then.
Did you?
Here's a really nice Sonic.
Zavikmon.
Zipmon, then evolve to Zavikmon. What would his attack be?
Pepper breath! He literally has pepper breath! As he blows out fire!
What would Zaz's be? Cool Buster. Ah.
No, Super Shocker. Super Shocker!
Bunch of fish. Go! And then we cut to Styx being interrogated.
At Interpol,
Yeah.
what popular game franchise has people that work for Interpol?
Sherlock Holmes.
Correct.
Well, no, that's not Interpol.
And then I will say though, again, I said that the Styx panels are just, and this is just a couple pages of just Ian just writing crazy Styx like non sequiturs. That's pretty good. But the artwork here is amazing. There's one where she's leaning back on a chair with her feet on a table, and this is like one of the best panels of Styx I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's
that's
so good. And there's a moment where she's talking about like, you know, she's talking about what's happened. Like, you know, we met a bunch of robots, threw around in a ship. I beat up a broom. Sonic Worlds Unites issue 1. You know, again. And then there's a bit where she's talking about I met Mega Man and Sonic and X, and she goes, "Huh, Sonic X? Nah, it never lost past 3 seasons." I love you, Ian. If you're listening to this, I love you, Mr. Flynn. And then there's a moment where she goes, you know, do you have any, Six goes, do you have any friends who would like to help us, you know, fight a big bald man and save all of creation? And then the figure in the shadow says, "Oh, definitely, let me make a few calls." I wonder who it, it's Chun-Li! And so we cut back to the Sky Patrol, and they're kind of, you know, under attack by more of the robots. Sally gets taken down, and then Eggman and...
No, this is more than her getting taken down. This was planned her getting taken down. She which I think is a really interesting, nice scene. She's like, "Okay, I'll be the decoy, and Sonic, you go do blah blah blah," and he's like, "I'm not gonna do that," and she's like, "Do it," and then she gets shot.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I just before because the plan was for Sonic to take down the Deadly Six, but before you can do that, Eggman and Wily bust out and they scream, "Egg Wily Upper T Robot Scrambler Cannon Fire!" Like the worst anime you've ever seen. It's fantastic. And they takes out all the robots and the Deadly Six. They fall to the ground and they complain that, you know, the weapon is now overheated so much, you know, so it's defensively useless. This nice bit of Sonic jumps on Eggman, he's about to punch him in the face, and it's called, "You just killed Mega Man." He's like, "No, we didn't. They're fine. I swear. Get off me, you blue freak."
But we killed the Deadly Six laser tag gear, so you know.
And there's a moment when they go up to him and they go, you know, The doctors told us you are ready to turn on Sigma and conquer us yourselves. I'm giving you this one chance. Walk into the brig. And then Zava goes, we are Zeti. We will never surrender. Ugh. And then they'll just pass
Throws
out.
up.
They'll just pass out. And then they're put in the brig. And it's just like, if that's, I'm gonna assume that is the last of the Deadly Six we see in this arc.
God, I hope so.
I hope so too.
I
I'm
mean,
fine with
unfortunately, I feel like what's gonna happen is they're in the brig on the Sky Patrol. They can control machines.
I didn't think about it. Yeah, it probably wasn't a smart idea. So yeah, that's probably gonna be.
Maybe,
I'm,
but
I'm wondering
I
what
don't know.
if they can control Nicole.
Well, I'm just like, because Arc 3 is gonna have 12 new characters. I don't think we'll see the Deadly Six back.
Yeah.
Just in terms
Yeah.
of pages, I don't think there'll be enough room to, here's the Street Fighter characters, his Knights, his Beautiful Joe, and then
Alex Kidd,
and then
Guys
does the
Arcadia.
Deadly Six come back again?
Maybe they're saving up all this negative space because they're like, we're gonna need all the negative space we can get in the next 4 issues. So save it up, people. Archie ain't made of money no more.
We just hired Chip Zdarsky to do Jughead. We ain't got no money.
We got no negative space. Chip Zdarsky's taking it all.
Damn you, Jughead. but it's just I know Bobby doesn't like the Deadly Six because he's wrong. I feel they would be great. If this is all we get of the Deadly Six, I would have much rather them not be in this, and we would have got an actual Sonic Lost World adaptation / issues.
Yeah, I think Ian. I don't care for their designs that much because they do look like rejected Skylanders, and they don't fit Sonic. But Ian writes them a lot better, and I would have liked it better for them to be in an adaptation. I agree with you to have their
And
own
it's-
thing in the main Sonic comic.
I hope they come back. If this is the only thing we see of them in the Sonic comic canon, I think it's a waste. It's a waste of them because as Jonathan was saying earlier, they're a non-Eggman villain,
Well, yeah, they could be
Yeah.
a good central villain. for a
and
few
they're just
issues.
they're just used as lackeys in this, which it's a bit of a letdown if this is truly the last we see of them in the book.
I have a feeling we're gonna get at least a panel where it's like, oh wait, the brig is empty. What?
Or the Sky Patrol gets taken down and they escape, and then that'll be a cliffhanger for them to return, maybe. I
I'd
don't
be
know.
fine for them to return. I just think that if I want to see more of these characters, because especially I like the interactions. I mean, we can. Xena is a completely one-note, borderline offensive stereotype of women. I mean, they're all one notes. Zor. Just a really kind of dated emo stereotype.
Right.
Emo isn't really around too much anymore as it was
They're
like 10 years
extinct.
ago. Yeah, emo went the way of the dodo, and they're extinct now. Zomom is just standard fat lazy guy. Zavok is the completely boring leader.
Bland, evil leader.
Yeah,
that's
you know,
evil.
Zik is the wise old master type thing, and Zaz is just
Crazy.
crazy.
And then there's Zaz.
And then I love Zaz. Zaz is the best. That's one of my favorite cutscenes in the entire franchise. Is face off with Zaz. When they they're fighting Windy Hill. I just love that so much. And then they have this plan where Zaz is we need to fix everyone. And Zero's like, what are you talking about? We have the element of surprise now. We gotta take him down. And then, but unfortunately, they spend a little too much time talking and theorizing a plan, because Zigma gets into his big nifty fancy armor, breaks out of the Lost Hex, and in a double-page spread mimicking the opening of 250, the Worlds Collide Arc 3 Issue 1, there's a panel with every single Maverick from the X series.
Yay.
And I think to be fair, we should say right off the bat, none of the four of us are that well versed in the X games. I
I skateboard. and sometimes snowboard.
No, those are the extreme games, not the X games.
Oh, okay.
Well, technically, they're the X games. You're just differentiating between the two. The Mega Man X games are what you're referring to.
I'm gonna slap you.
I love you.
You know, I've played a handful.
You use "I love you" like I use "I love you."
Too often. But it's weird because like with the Robot Master reveals, I think it's just because for me, they have more personality, and I think their designs. I just prefer their designs because the gimmick with the Mavericks is they're all animal based.
Right.
So you have things like Storm Eagle and
Launch Octopus.
yeah.
Boomer Kawanger or whatever.
Yeah, Kawanger.
And Spark Mandrill, stuff like that. Also, as TJ pointed out in the Robot Master thing, they're all kind of grouped in their game groups. You know, so like in the corner, there's all the 8s and then there's all the 2s, what have you.
Well, generally,
yeah. I mean, there's a few exceptions, but generally they're with their groups. As TJ pointed out, they're just kind of like higgledy-piggledy here.
Yep.
And I think the biggest thing is when Ben Bates did the Robot Masters, each one was like, if memory serves me right, they were like kind of doing there were some like puns going on with some of the Robot Masters doing different things.
And here they're just looking.
They're all posing.
They were like striker pose. They were just like looking like menacingly at like at the viewer, the reader, as it were.
Do you imagine that like before they came over the hill? Sigma was just standing there and he's like, "Okay, everyone to their places. Now look menacingly at the horizon."
Spark Mandrill, you do not go there. Remember rehearsal, you're over there. More to the left. Bit more. Too much, come back. Perfect. Let's kill some robots.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, her. They have to start looking menacingly.
But I mean, I said there's things in the Robot Master moment like Snake Man's looking up at Tom and being like, "Hey!" And Tom just looking like, "You're scum, don't look at me." You know, like there's kind of like little in jokes like that where there's not really anything like that. Here they're just. I mean, it's the from a writing point of view, it is completely a logical progression, because again, it'd be too repetitive to bring back the Robot Masters again. So obviously, because X is in this, it makes complete sense to bring the Mavericks back. And I'm sure if we were as familiar with the X games
or cared,
to be fair, this would mean more. You know, as it's just like...
That's the thing. I don't think it would, because I'm familiar with all the Mavericks. I'm familiar with them. I just don't care, because they don't have any personality.
To be fair, though, the Robot Masters, outside of, the cartoon or the comics or official... If you're just going by what's in the games, neither did they.
Well, yeah, but that's not what we're going by. Because, like, exactly like you said, like...
Yeah, but to be fair to the Mavericks, like, they don't have... With the exception of, like, that one episode of the Mega Man Ruby Space cartoon where, like, Spark Mandrill appears...
Yeah.
The Mavericks haven't really appeared in anything outside the games.
I know. You're just adding to my point that's why we don't care. I mean, like I said, I'm familiar with the Mavericks. It's just that because they don't have that background like the Robot Masters do, in like different things.
Well, no, but I'm sure like people who are hardcore fans of the X who read the character profiles, they probably all do have personalities type of things, Yeah,
and I mean the artist Edwin Huang could have. I mean, granted, just doing that alone, oh my God, is impressive, but. He could have had that interaction between the Mavericks like Ben Bates did with the Robot Masters, because that's really kind of what gave that two-page splash personality.
I also guess there's some of them like Clown Man's just showing off, like they're all like doing. They don't always be like, "We're gonna get you." They're like, some of them are showing, what their character traits are. Whereas this, like, if you were to point to them and be like, "Describe this Maverick," I'm evil. Describe this Maverick.
Evil.
Evil.
Yeah, I don't
You know
know.
what?
Like you guys said, if that's just lack of character development for the Mavericks, or lack of personality, or if there was something for him to work with, I don't know.
I have no idea. No idea.
What this conversation has got me thinking is, this really stinks for like these new guys on this book, because we're just spending the whole time comparing it to Worlds Collide.
Well, yeah.
Well,
I guess,
to be fair though, like it's obvious.
Like Gareth already said, like it's super close. So how are we
So to be fair with this, how can you not compare it to?
Well, I know,
obviously, to be fair, like most.
But I'm just saying, it's really kind of sad that it's like, hey, this is your first time on Sonic or Mega Man.
To be fair, the Maverick thing, this isn't really an attack on the artist or Ian. It's just I'm just pretty much saying that I don't really give a crap about the Mavericks, you know.
Like if that's the first thing that I saw of Edwin Huang, that's really impressive. Like that's a really good, well drawn.
These are on model. Like of the Mavericks I recognize, I'm like on model. He's he's again, as we said, Edward Wang does a pretty damn good job with the robots. Most of them, the Mega Man characters, the next characters, pretty much they're more consistently on model than the Sonic ones are.
Right.
But so I think that's enough Maverick bashing for now.
As a side note, why does Sigma's armor look like Zavic's head?
Because Wily and Eggman designed it.
Yeah. Why did they design it that way?
Because the Deadly Six. I don't know.
I just found
because
that
Deadly
odd.
Six. That's why, Bobby.
Yeah, you scrub.
So is this a completely new design?
I think so. Yes.
And did you ever find out if that mustache is?
I skimmed through my Mega Man book and I couldn't see a Sigma design with mustaches before.
Because I'm thinking that skull is for Wily and that mustache is for Eggman.
Yes,
on his belt.
but the color scheme screams Zavik.
You know, it's the thing that we didn't realize though, Jonathan.
What?
Wily comes after Sigma already has a body, so that mustache would only be from Eggman.
Eggman, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, the skull would just be there. So I'm sorry, I think you're right. I think the mustache is from Eggman, but the skull has nothing to do with Wily because remember, like, Sigma already has the body, and then Eggman's like, I can't do anything. I need help, and he's like, oh okay. Whoop! Here's Wily.
Dr. Wily.
Here's Wily.
That's
my variety show.
Here's Dr. Wily.
I'd watch
Filmed
it.
before life.
So we get to Rogue Unite Part 8, the last part of this arc. Mega Man Issue 51. Rogue Unite Part 8, Holes in Reality. Writer Ian Flynn, pencils Edwin Huang, inks Gary Martin, colors Gabriel Cassiter, letters John Workman, cover by Spaz. The Bald is Beautiful variant cover by Diane Skelly, Rick Bryant, and our boy Matty Herms, and the Cover Unite variant by Ben Bates. The opening, I like this opening splash pages, but it's got Sonic X, Mega Man 0, Sally, Breakman, and Snake Man, and Big's stomach, kind of looking up in kind of like fear and shock.
Stay out of the panel.
Pretty much. And Sally looks kind of really weird. Her arm proportions are off, but everyone, again, as I said, everyone looks like shocked and worried. Snake Man's smiling.
Again.
I love it. It's like he's just evil all the time. You know, great. And so then basically they just start attacking people in this. And again, it's just we get to this 2-page spread on pages 2 and 3, and it's just these. I would say this is probably the weakest issue for pencils.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's a slight. I think it's a step up from last issue.
I don't, because just on this page we got
terrible spin dash.
Spin dash looks weird. Tails is holding Amy and flying, and they both.
He's not even holding her now that I look at it.
Yeah, he's just kind of. Yeah.
It's like a very awkward, I don't want to touch you. I'm holding you.
It's
Okay,
like he's
Amy,
punching her in
I'm
the
gonna
side.
make 2 fists and just kind of squeeze you. I'm not gonna hold on to you at all.
Like a claw machine.
Yeah, like a claw machine. But I'm on like cycle 30 out of 40. So when I lift you up in the air, I'm just gonna not hold on to you
I'm
very
gonna hold
tightly.
on to you for 5 seconds, then drop you.
Yeah. Is that okay?
Boop.
Just hold out the Pico hammer and you'll just fall on it.
And then, like the next few pages, they're just freedom fighters fighting Robot Mavericks, which again, I don't really know who these characters are, so I can't. It's not like in Worlds. Again, I hate to go back to it, but it's not like in Worlds Collide where I can be like, oh, this is an awesome page of Knuckles fighting Concrete Man.
Right.
You know, it's also weird because in that. To go back though, I have a point though. In Worlds Collide when they fight the Robot Masters, there's like they name drop them, like they give you like the production number, like DNW like 0047, Snake Man. But in this one, there's no name dropping of any of the Mavericks.
I have no idea who any of these things
Which is weird because you think that going into you could make the assumption going into this. The readers, you would have more readers of classic Mega Man than X. You'd think that they would need that more, like who these Mavericks are.
Exactly.
Which it's a little thing where it's just kind of a letdown because I don't know who this is. I don't know who's fighting Antoine here. Like it'd be nice.
That's Boomer Klanger from X1.
It'd be nice.
I know that.
What about Drill Rhino Driller?
Yeah, I have no idea
Rhino.
who he is.
It'd be nice, to have that kind of stuff. And then there's a moment where Axe was freaking out because. The Mavericks, which again, as we said in the last issue, these X, Axel, and Zero take from a time period after the X games. Because some of these Mavericks, they're characters who should be dead in that timeline. And so Axel's kind of freaking out, because he's Mavericks from the Foes are supposed to be dead.
Even though I have no idea about anything X, I really liked this. Or, I really liked this.
This page is good. This is a good.
Really good.
This is a good page. Basically, X kind of goes like Sigma's brought them back from the dead, kind of, but like the other people, they're just mindless shells. So kill him again, and then he goes off to check on Zero, and Zero's like, whatever, scrub, I got this. Let's kill some people. And then there's a few pages of Sigma going over his plan of he's gonna unite these worlds and get consume their energy. And then there's this nice bit of he imagines
Where did
himself.
he gain this extra power from?
He gains this the power because he's sucking it from their world. It's like the plot of Sonic Lost World where they're gonna drain the energy from Sonic's world to make themselves stronger.
Yeah.
Right.
Sigma's doing this just with 2 worlds at once, so he's getting super powerful quickly. There's a nice panel of him in space where he's cut in by the stars. He's holding galaxies and stuff.
There's a lot of spin dashes all around us.
But no, I like this. It's weird. Sigma's always on model. I like that. Whenever Sigma always looks good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Bald is beautiful. We learned that last issue.
Yeah.
Or no, this issue's variant.
Yeah, and then Sonic goes over to Eggman and Wily to be put the gun on again, you fools, and they're like, we have to work on it. But then one of the Mavericks, who again I have no idea, it looks like a big pumpkin, jumps on it and breaks it, and it runs off. And there's a nice moment with Sonic's if you guys had a diabolical backstabbing plan, might be a good time to use it on these guys. And Eggman goes, I don't. There's a nice little moment where Sonic goes, how can he be out of ideas? I thought you had the, in quotation marks, master plan.
I love that.
And then Eggman goes, what's your excuse? Run out fast?
I love that. That's pretty good.
It's a weird because there's some nice little smaller character moments. This bit with Mega Man saves Wily.
This is the best part of this issue.
Yes.
Of this arc.
Mega Man saves Wily, and Wily's like, what are you talking? What are you saving me for? And Mega Man's like, I don't want to hurt anyone, and I don't want to see you hurt or worse.
But you hate me! I don't want to hate anyone.
You know what?
I love you.
I love you too, Bobby.
You know what that kind of reminds me of? It reminds me of that scene in Captain America where the the doctor goes like, so you want to kill Germans? You want to kill Nazis,
Yeah,
yeah? And Steve Rogers goes, I don't want to kill anyone. I just don't like bullies. It kind of
Yeah.
reminds me of that a little bit. And like Mega Man goes like, I don't want to see you hurt. And Wily goes, that's just the law of robotics talking. And he goes, well, yeah, but it's what I want. So stay put. There's a nice bit of like Wily kind of like gives him a salute, like yes, sir, Mr. Mega Man, sir, yes, sir. And then he runs away and says, condescending Mega Brat. I kind of like that. And then there's this kind of page of just again the Mavericks just destroying the heroes. It's kind of like the opposite of I guess this was done in a way to make it seem more threatening because the Robot Masters they were. Like they were destroying, like the Freedom Fighters were pretty adeptly killing the Robot Masters. It was just like they were getting, this is because there were so many of them.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why it was hard. But this one, it's like these guys are like they're stronger than the Robot Masters. I'm not sure if that's probably true to canon. The Mavericks are stronger than
Yeah, they're more advanced
yeah.
than the Robot Masters.
And
Look at this bear guy. Look at his fingernails and look at his scar on his face. It's pretty intense.
What is that, a rose?
Oh no, he cut Woodman.
No.
Oh, you're right.
Oh golly.
Woodman. But there's a moment where just with this, where they feel they're like down that okay, this ain't going so well. We get a Hadouken that comes in and destroys the kangaroo with boxing gloves on. And then out of a Mega Drive portal enters from the world of Street Fighter,
Ryu.
Chun-Li, Ryu, Guile, Ken. And as
Ken Penders?
Ken Penders.
Oh, no.
You'll owe me money. And you know for a fact that this was a movie. As this happened, you just hear boom ba dum 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 ba dum. It goes with everything. And Styx comes in on top of Guile's head and goes da 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 da, presenting a new and improved Team Styx. And then there's a nice moment where this page, as soon as this issue came out, this page was going around Twitter and Tumblr and all kinds of. It's a big of Chun-Li doing spinning bird kick on a Maverick and Sadie going wow, and then Ken doing a Shoryuken and a really off-model Derpy Knuckles going I gotta try that. Ryu doing another Hadouken, destroying the punching bag kangaroo. Mega Man goes, huh. And Guile does a Sonic boom, and it cuts to a not impressed looking Sonic, which I like that. But again, that's again I think this page is the perfect example of the artwork of this arc. The humans and the Mavericks look really good.
Yes.
Mega Man looks fine. Sally, Knuckles, and Sonic not so much.
It's the eyes, man.
It's really because like Sally looks like in this page. Sally looks like she's high. Knuckles looks like he's just dead. Like he's just got these like flat eyes, like
And they're just kind of floating there.
twirling,
Gazing.
twirling.
Always twirling.
And then they destroy the Mavericks. And I'm like, this is a bit where like the Street Fighter characters, they're tough, but I don't know if like Ryu and Kane kicking a robot
Everybody
would
knows
be-
the Hadouken is unstoppable.
would be more powerful than like the Mega Buster,
Their foot too. It's like what
That would
human's
hurt.
foot wouldn't get cut up or broken by kicking a robot?
They're super martial artists.
At least Chun-Li's got shoes on.
Yeah.
And Guile does like a backflip on one of them and just breaks it against the pavement. That's great.
I like this bit. I like where Styx is bragging about bringing Chun-Li in. The
Yeah, like
game.
this is my new team.
And then Sally's like, "You're a genius," and hugs her, and she's like, "What is this?"
I'm not used to this.
People
think,
showing me affection? That never happens.
I think that Sally was supposed to be read as being more sarcastic towards Styx, and I think it was supposed to come through the art more, and then this would have been a part where Sally understands Styx or something.
Yeah.
Because there's this one bit where she says something, oh, she's probably crawling through the air ducts. I think that line was meant to be like, oh, she's probably crawling through
It's
the air
like who
ducts or
cares where
something.
she is? She doesn't add anything, type of
Yeah,
thing.
and I think there was supposed to be a little tiny arc where Sally kind of is like, Styx is cool. I like Styx.
But she's useless at everything. And then we got a page of like this is where they formulate a plan, where she goes, you know, Sigma's opened so many Genesis portals to go to other worlds to try and kind of suck their power, but that means that we can travel to those worlds to get more people to fight with us. And so this is and like X is like, and then there's a nice moment where Eggman's like, we need like a backup plan. And it Sally goes, what, like a pan-dimensional army isn't enough for you? And Eggman goes, no, but Supersonic might. And Eggman is contacting Metal Sonic to bring them the last emerald, which we saw he got. You know.
No.
No, we saw.
When
So
did he get that?
the Eggman already has. Eggman has an emerald,
Yeah.
and like the Freedom Fighters have like the 6 other ones. So he's contacting Metal to bring the emerald. So they have him in place. So Supersonic, because we know this is going to end with another Supersonic, Super Mega Man.
But the last time we saw Metal Sonic was Sonic Universe 75, where he was stuck in space in like an alternate dimension, right?
Yeah, but Eggman probably has a bunch of Metal Sonics. I mean, it happened.
No,
I mean,
there's only one Metal Sonic.
now,
Yeah, Sega said it's canon. They can only have one Metal
yeah,
Sonic.
but Sega also said he couldn't speak anymore, and he spoke in issue 75.
Yeah, that's
You know?
true. Yeah.
And then they kind of formulate their plan, and there's a bit where like Ryu and Ken just like, what is this? Like what is this? Bunch of just freaking animals talking. What's going on here?
Have a line. It's
Like kids' cartoon or
yeah, it's
something.
like a kid's cartoon.
I think it'd be funny if they started like freaking out, like ah, screaming at each other.
And then a bunch of all the robots all the people who can't fly have it looks like they're running extreme gear. And they kind of team up to go into different Genesis portals to find people.
Yeah, and Sigma's not stopping them at all. He's just watching them go into these portals.
Well, he can't close them because he needs them open to drain their energy.
He can't close them because of the blast processing.
Yeah, I mean, he could like take his head and try to bite at that Knuckles or something. Be like, ah.
And then
Like Galactus.
Yeah. You
Okay.
guys are M&Ms to me. Arr.
and then because everyone's distracted, Eggman and Wily, I think now's our time to pull out Double Cross, and then Xander Payne just goes, you know what, let's go, lads, and then they go back to their base on the Lost Hex, and this is where Arc 2 ends. Bum bum bum.
And I would have to say this is the best Wily and Eggman of the entire arc. This is a really good final page with Wily and Eggman. Like, that's a really good Eggman.
I will say that indicative by our energy level for this entire podcast, many of us were underwhelmed by Arc 2.
Yeah, it's again you don't want to compare it too much to Worlds Collide.
That's
but
exactly the problem. Is that with a story so or a concept. It's not the story. The concept so similar, and especially so close to the first one.
You want to know something else? It's also very close to 2 other events that have happened
In the last,
comics.
yeah.
Convergence and Secret Wars. Like, this is very similar to that, except we're not actually seeing the mashed together worlds.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, see, my thing is that it kind of like Worlds Collide, Worlds Unite. Act 1 is getting the heroes together, explaining who the villain is, and then Act 1 ends with them going on their way to defeat the villain.
Yeah.
That's how both of the. And again, I liked Act 1 of Worlds Unite. I thought Act 1 of Worlds Collide was a bit cleaner. You knew, you spent more time with the characters, what have you.
Right.
Act 2 of Worlds Collide, progresses the plot. Not that much happens, but we meet more characters. It's about them freeing the roboticized masters. We get that nice issue of them fighting the Mega Man robots from the Wily Wars game. And it's them like
robot.
the copy robot and stuff like that. And it's just like there's a nice progression in it. It just feels like there's not 4 issues with a story.
Yeah, the characters are all together. We know who the villain is, and they just basically... The characters already introduced fights. The villain's pretty much already introduced.
It's pretty much 3 issues of fighting, and then one with let's go to other worlds.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
here's Street Fighter, and then that leads into all the Sega Capcom.
Yeah, which again,
franchises coming.
it's just they try to. I mean, me and Jonathan have talked about this, and like I would have liked like one issue. I mean, for my money, I would have had like one issue where they fight the random people, like the random like sub bosses.
Yeah.
One where they just fight those, and then like one issue just focus on the Deadly Six. You can flesh them out more, and
Right.
then you can bring in the Mavericks, and then you could have had a whole issue of just going to the other worlds, because I have a feeling that like. Because the first issue of Arc 3 is just them going to different worlds. I feel like it would have been better to get that done in this arc. So then Arc 3 could have just been, here's all our characters.
Yeah.
Let's go have some fun, rather than we have
Yeah.
to collect
We're gonna
everyone.
have to waste a whole issue.
And from what it looks like with the covers, it's like the next issue is I think like Skies of Arcadia,
Axe the Kid.
Knights, Alex Kidd, and then the issue after that, I think I saw like Golden Axe, and so I think it's like 2 issues focused on them just going to worlds. Like, oh, here's the
how
heroes,
about
here's the
this?
villains.
Maybe it's they're going to solve the plot on a couple planets per issue, or a couple worlds per issue. It's like, okay, we cut off we close the portal and cut off the energy suckingness to here, to there, and that's how they
Here
Do
to there to
slight-
everywhere.
do slight crossovers.
I just don't know how they're going to introduce all of these characters and worlds, get them all together, have a final confrontation. From what it looks like, Eggman and Wily still have something up their sleeves.
In
and then
4
there's
issues.
the final super fight
See-
that's going to be at the very end, too.
And here is where we have a Sonic battle book, a Mega Man battle book. We should have had a other character battle book. A Capcom other character,
Yeah.
or a
Or-
Sega
both.
other character.
And I
Yeah.
mean that's
one
why
Capcom, one Sega.
and that's why going back to Worlds Collide, like they get like the Robot Master issue, like they put that issue is just Robot Masters, and then like they don't play a big part in the subsequent 3 issues of Act 4. I mean,
right.
they cut back the panels here and there, but it's 3 issues of just them fighting robots on the Sky Patrol, and it's a bit like, I mean, like the artwork fluctuates. It goes from like pretty good
The
to
setting
this
isn't interesting.
the backgrounds are just all blue. Like it's visually, it's again. I hate to go back to it feels unfair to keep going back to Worlds Collide, but like Ben Bates did really good work on the backgrounds for like I mean, they were fighting in like a rocky desert type of area,
Yeah.
but like the backgrounds weren't just like flat blues.
Well, yeah, he could have done nothing with the background, Ben Bates, but it was still visually interesting besides the characters, even though it was just pretty much a canyon, like a rocky area.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
nothing more to it, but yet it still was visually interesting, the way that he did it.
Yeah, and
So, yeah, it just...
so it's
yeah, there's just too much left for 4 issues.
which is why
in
they
my
should have.
opinion.
I feel they should have put some of it in these ones because I could have done without. I could have done without the sub bosses. You could have removed those. You could have just had the Deadly
Yeah.
Six and
The Mavericks.
the Mavericks. I mean, that's what I would have done. But Jonathan, final thoughts on Act 2 of World Unite?
First issue and last issue of the arc were really good. The middle didn't really do too much for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if you cut those 2 issues out, I would have been okay.
Bob?
I mean, it was good. I was just underwhelmed by it. And like I said, it's kind of unfair to Edwin Huang because he does some great work. He's a good artist. I'm not harping on that at all. But yeah, it just felt very bland, not a lot going on. And I sound like a broken record, but there's way too much left for just 4 issues of this crossover.
Yeah. John?
Overall, I was pretty underwhelmed by this portion of the arc, or this arc in the story. I had a lot of problems with the art overall. Like, not that it was not that I thought it was bad, but there was just a lot of issues that I had with certain aspects of it, in terms of characters being off model, or colors being flat, or poor use of negative space. And I thought there was really no progression of the story, because like there's everything that gets introduced gets resolved right away.
Yeah.
It's like you have that issue where, okay, the Deadly Six take over all the Robot Masters and Mega Man and X and Breakman, and then it's almost immediately resolved. So, like, there's nothing that adds on to later on in the story, aside from the fact that they've gathered these Capcom characters. Like, that's the only thing that they added in 4 issues to the story.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's it's just I hesitate to say it's a letdown, because there was enough things in I enjoyed, where it wasn't like I was like, I've wasted 4 issues, reading 4 issues of a comic book. There's a lot of stuff I did like. There's a lot of nice character moments, especially in the last issue, which with Eggman, like Mega Man. I get some really good moments of Wily.
Yeah.
Some of the artwork's good. Some of the panels are good. It's weird though. We were talking about how much you wasted fights. I would have rather, especially in like issue 3 or 4, them just take the as we're gonna see in the Sonic Battle book, the Knuckles Breakman fights. I would have rather have 7 pages of that in one of these issues. Because the writing, there's some really good. Again, because there's so many characters, it's hard to get prolonged scenes of like character, like 7 pages, which is practically a third of a book.
Yeah.
But as we're gonna see in that issue, both Knuckles and Breakman are so good in that I would have much rather than just them fighting pointless, characterless mavericks, put that in instead. But yeah, hopefully, it leaves me, again, I won't say concerned, but just curious as to how much Ian's gonna have to cram into 4 issues to get this story fixed up. But I look forward to it, because again, next issue we have next arc rather, we have Boxer. I forget his full name.
Tyson Hesse.
Tyson Hesse and Matt Herms are back on pencils and colors. So. Again, no disrespect to Evan Hearn, but we know that the artwork is not going to disappoint in arc 3.
And it has knights in it.
Has knights.
That's all I need.
You heard you the first 4 times.
But it has knights.
Good night.
It has knights and knuckles.
Knights and knuckles.
I love you. But thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back in a few weeks again. As I said at the start of this, we recorded the first episode just a week ago, so this is pretty soon after that. We'll be back after back in about 4 weeks after Worlds Unite has concluded. But until then, I have been FTA,
Tron John,
Jonathan.
The Anti-Guardian.
and we'll see you again next time. Goodbye.
Good night.
so long.
Auf Wiedersehen. Goodbye.
Hot
And